A guy buys a gold ring for 10,000, thinking he'd scored a deal, but one twist threw him straight into the apocalypse. This world was swarming with zombies, where 3 eggs were a fortune, enough to trade for a beautiful woman. A kilo of pork could buy weapons and ammo, while gold and cash were worthless. Here, food was the only true currency. He'd accidentally brought 2 huge crates of fresh tomatoes into this hellscape. Luckily, his agility helped him survive the zombie onslaughts. Suddenly, a girl appeared before him. Before he could react, she dragged him to their base and pulled out a whip. She interrogated him, demanding to know his purpose. The outside was crawling with monsters, so where did these precious tomatoes come from? Don't tell me you drugged these to take over our base. And then have your way with us, is that it? How could fresh tomatoes even exist in the apocalypse? He was just an ordinary guy, once unable to pay his parents' medical bills. Song Chao instantly became a business magnate, all thanks to a ring that let him travel between the apocalypse and his own world. In this wasteland, money was worthless, a stark contrast to his reality. He seized the opportunity, trading food for 10 kilos of gold. He started a team to supply food to wasteland survivors. Back in the present, he opened his eyes to a whip cracking near his feet. Fearing for his family jewels, Song Chao yelled, "Are you trying to murder me?" But his desperate cries were ignored. The girl sneered, "You're naive, kid. In the hands of us West City sisters, you think you can try something? Being handsome won't save you." She was Shen Jiawen, an apocalyptic survivor. Beside her stood her younger sister, Jiame. The two hadn't eaten clean food in ages, and desperately craved fresh vegetables when they found Song Chao. Finding him with 10 kilos of tomatoes felt like striking gold. Jiawen pressed him, "Tell me the truth. Where did you get these? Are there more?" But Song Chao wasn't from this world. Who would believe his story? "My name is Song Chao. I'm just a tourist." Outside, countless zombies still shambled about. Song Chao had struggled to weave through them, all while carrying 2 massive baskets of tomatoes. A swift kick took one down. He was lucky the sisters found him. He was taking too long. Yawen cracked her whip right between his legs, mere centimeters from ending his bloodline. Her bold move left him no choice but to blurt out the truth. "I'm from another world. I want to trade with you 2 beautiful women. Help me, and I can get you more tomatoes." Jiawen was stunned. More? In this wasteland, fresh food was just a distant memory. She didn't hesitate. "What kind of deal? What do you want? Are you a slaver?" Her sister, Jiame, suddenly begged for food. "I want green vegetables and chicken eggs." Jiawen had to pull her sister back to reality. "Stop being foolish. The chickens mutated. Their eggs are inedible." Hearing this left Song Chao stunned. Green vegetables and eggs? He thought they were just hungry, not that things were this dire. It seemed this world was truly in its final stage. He saw his chance for profit. So, what can 1 crate of tomatoes get me? Inside, his mind was racing. A poor family and a naive little sister to support. He started calculating his new business venture. This could make him a fortune. Jiawen walked to their weapons cache. "It's worth about 5 energy bricks, or a dozen pulse rifles. You could also get slaves, or a few pretty women." Song Chao couldn't believe his ears. "Beautiful women can be traded?" Jiawen eyed him suspiciously. "Interested in the slave trade, are you?" Song Chao quickly denied it. "No, you've got it wrong. I just want valuables, like diamonds, jewels, or gold." His words made Jiawen look at him like an idiot. "Don't you get it? It's a wasteland out there. That stuff is worthless now." It finally hit him how different this world was, so Song Chao proposed a deal. "You need food. I need gold and jewels. Let's trade for what we each need." Jiawen seemed satisfied with the proposal. "What are the terms? How many of these radiation-free tomatoes can you supply?" Song Chao answered honestly. "I can come by every few days. Just have what I asked for ready." The sisters exchanged a look. "We don't offer special services." He could only give an awkward smile. He then asked for their protection. "I need you to guarantee my safety here." It seemed like a fair trade, a simple give and take. Jiawen agreed. "Fine, I'll handle your security. But let's be clear on the price. 1 basket of tomatoes for 10 kilos of gold, maximum, or other items of equal value. Our partnership begins when you deliver." Then, she bit into a fresh tomato, her heart pounding. "Consider these tomatoes a down payment." The flavor exploded in her mouth, captivating her. She hadn't tasted clean food in years. Song Chao saw his chance. "Well, since our business is settled, I should." Before he could finish, she slammed him against the wall. "You're free to move around." Her voice dropped to a low warning, making him tense. "But don't leave this workshop, and don't leave my sight." She pressed herself even closer as she spoke. We've cleared most of the mutated beasts around here, but it's not completely safe, Jiawen added with an intimidating frown. Wander off and get yourself killed, don't blame us. His face flushed from their proximity. He quickly changed the subject. So, can I use the restroom? She finally realized how close they were and spun around. Go on, and go far away. As he left, he couldn't help but glance back to see them eating happily. Outside, Song Chao let out a sigh of relief. He'd survived for now. Suddenly, a thought struck him. Everything that happened today had to have a cause. It seemed the reason for his dimension hopping could only be one thing. He slowly raised the ring on his finger. Song Chao studied it from every angle, his heart tense. The only thing different about today was this cheap ring. He casually gave it another twist. The ring immediately reacted, glowing with a brilliant light. Before he could process what was happening, he was enveloped by its immense power. Suddenly, he was in a void. Lethal energies swarmed Song Chao. He desperately twisted his ring once more. Summoned away instantly, he blinked in confusion. He glanced around, and a familiar sight greeted him. Song Chao sighed. I'm back. He stared at the ring, when a memory surfaced. Kid, you have the bones of a prodigy. You're destined for greatness. This ring, unique in all creation, is now yours. And just like that, the old master handed it over. With a sly grin, he added, discounted to $199. The old man's strange face haunted Song Chao's thoughts. Who was that old man? Song Chao recalled how City Patrol had chased him away. He could only watch, shouting, Wait, stop! The memory left him speechless. Lost in thought, he didn't notice Jiang Min spotting him down the street. She instantly screeched, Hey, Song family brat, get back here. Startled, Song Chao turned as she kept yelling at him. Your family owes us 10,000. When will you pay? As a debtor, he could only avert his gaze while she berated him. My son needs that money for college. Song Chao pleaded. Auntie Zhang, just a few more days. I'll pay you back, I swear. Sadness welled up inside him. His father's lung disease, his mother's brain tumor. They couldn't care for themselves. He borrowed so much for their treatments. He clenched his jaw. He just needed to trade the gold from the apocalypse. He tried to stay calm. You promised to pay it back in 1 year. It's been ages, and it's always the same excuse. No money. What about my son's college fund? But he wasn't made of steel. His hands began to shake. 10,000. I'll have it in 3 days. And another 1,000 in interest. She scoffed. 3 days? I've waited 5 years. How can your family of invalids possibly pay? Jiang Min's words turned venomous. If your sick parents died sooner, you could pay us back faster. And at that moment, he snapped. He slammed his fist into the wall beside her. Song Chao's voice was a low growl. Say one more word about my family, and I'll send you to the grave. Fear flashed in her eyes, her hands trembling. He made a solemn vow. Listen to me. I will pay you back every cent tomorrow, including the interest. The sky seemed to burn. A murderous aura radiated from his eyes. Now, get out of my sight. She stood there, completely stunned. A moment later, Jiang Min turned to leave, shouting to save face. You brat, you dare threaten me. If you don't pay tomorrow, don't blame me for what comes next. He watched her go, his frown deepening as he stared at his fist. He made a promise to himself. He would use this chance to give his family a better life. Before he knew it, the next day arrived. Outside the supermarket, Song Chao set down 2 full buckets of vegetables. Looking at his preparations, he sighed in relief. That's everything. He twisted the one-of-a-kind ring. Time to go. Instantly, he was pulled into a swirling vortex. Song Chao looked around, confirming his theory, just as I thought. The return point doesn't change. As he got up, he was greeted by a shotgun barrel. Jia Wen's voice was sharp. Welcome back. She didn't lower the gun. What took you so long? A smile played on her lips, but her brow was furrowed. You vanished without a word yesterday. The gun gave him a heart attack. Whoa, easy. I just went to get some vegetables. She stared at him, bewildered. Vegetables? Song Chao turned to get his things. You wanted greens and eggs, right? He held them up. I went to get. Before he finished, the bucket was snatched from his hands. He blinked, waving his now empty hand. Jia Mei stared at the food, practically drooling. Sis, look. It's real vegetables and eggs. A bounty of fresh vegetables and a tray of eggs sat before them. Jia Wen looked away, her face flushing. I see. The sight was irresistible. She swallowed hard, then awkwardly ordered Song Chao to start cooking. He gave a thumbs up. Got it. Soon, the quiet warehouse was filled with sounds of chewing. Jia Wen raised a ripe tomato, while Jia Mei devoured the fresh greens. He walked past with the pot, watching them feast. A single, glistening tear hit the floor. The moment Jia Wen saw him, she began her interrogation. Did you have this food stashed somewhere nearby? Beside her, Jia Mei was crying with joy. I can't remember the last time I ate fresh vegetables. Her gaze was filled with suspicion. I know for a fact there's nothing within 10 kilometers of here but zombies and mutated beasts. Her voice grew deeper. So where did you get all this? He coughed, forming a plausible lie. You have to carry supplies out there. How else would I survive? You don't need to worry about the details. He then skillfully changed the subject. Now that you've eaten, we should discuss our partnership. Is there a gold vault nearby? To Song Chao's dismay, Jia Wen answered nonchalantly, Nope, this is the West District of Linjiang City. There are only residential areas here, no vaults. And even if there were, we couldn't crack one. Her casual attitude made him grind his teeth. He pointed right at her, furious. You lied to me. If there's no vault, why offer 10 kilograms of gold for one tomato? Jia Wen kept chewing, even complimenting him. Good memory. She gave him a playful wink. There might not be a vault, but there is a mansion district. The rich probably have what you're looking for. Hope surged in him. Then what are we waiting for? Let's go now. She lounged on the floor lazily. What's the rush? I'm full. He instinctively yelled back. I'm in a rush. Her eyes snapped open. Realizing his mistake, Song Chao broke into a cold sweat. She gave him a suspicious look, then stretched her arms. All right, fine. Consider it a post-meal workout. Before leaving, she warned her sister, Jia Mei. You stay and guard the base. If anyone breaks in. A murderous glint appeared in Jia Van's eyes, her tone frigid. As she reached the door, he asked, Wait, you're not going alone, are you? She answered coolly. Aren't you with me? She then tried to calm him. Relax. We've cleared out the local mutants several times. Jia Van looked deadly in her advanced combat suit. After we arrived, she stated, Just take whatever. My name is Tong Xiu, a normal guy from the modern world, now trapped in this apocalyptic future. Right now, I'm seriously panicking. It all started a few minutes ago when Jia Van tossed something to me. Put on this military watch. I stared at the strange device for a moment. What is this? My confusion only grew deeper. What the hell is this thing? I asked nonchalantly. How does this thing work? She zipped up her jacket suspiciously. You don't even know how to use this? I stopped fiddling with it, desperately trying to think of an excuse. I'm not exactly combat personnel. I barely even see the monsters you're talking about. Hearing this, she heaved a sigh. Jai Van then touched a spot on her chest. It's a multi-function military watch, she explained while tucking her hair away. It can do more than just track your position. Then she pointed to her neck. It can also check for ambient radiation. A helmet formed around her head as she looked at me. And it has a team communication function. A moment passed with no response. Jai Van grabbed me by the shirt. All right, let's move. She dragged me towards a striking, bright yellow hoverbike. You can learn how it works on the way. I had never seen such a masterpiece, and my awe was obvious. Wow, this bike has no wheels. My over-the-top reaction made her look at me doubtfully. Are you even from this world? Jai Van hit the ignition, and 2 streams of blue energy flared out. You've never seen an all-terrain hover vehicle before? Through her clear visor, I could see her staring me down. I forced a laugh to break the terrifying tension. Ha ha, of course I'm from this world. She frowned, obviously annoyed. Quiet, she snapped, then yelled, Stop the nonsense and hold on tight. As the energy jets turned red, the bike slowly began to rise. Jai Van gripped the handlebars and shouted, Let's go. In my panic, I instinctively grabbed her waist for support, an action that clearly caught her by surprise. She glanced back quickly, only to see me with my eyes squeezed shut, shaking uncontrollably. Jai Van clicked her tongue in complete exasperation. TSK. Move your hands, and I'll cut them off. Clouds drifted past the cliffs as she sped through the empty roads. I looked at the surrounding scenery in awe. It's so peaceful. We flew over the green plains as I asked, Why is it so quiet here? She replied impatiently, I told you, we've cleared this area before. As Jai Van was talking, a mutated rat hiding nearby spotted us. These days, it's not just zombies, but all kinds of mutated animals. Kill everything, and of course it gets quiet. The moment the words left her mouth, it lunged. The mutated rat bared its sharp fangs, aiming right for us. The second I saw it, I screamed, Watch out. Without a wasted motion, she drew her pistol and fired at the rat. The creature was hit and fell to the ground. Jai Van just gunned the engine and sped forward. It's just one rat. After a moment, I asked her seriously, "Is that gun for sale? How much food would you want for it?" She replied simply, "This gun isn't worth much." As a large city appeared before us, she continued, "If you want one, head to the Linjiang headquarters. You can trade one for a single egg." But I was absolutely floored. One egg could buy a gun in this dangerous, apocalyptic world. I have to get my hands on the best upgraded weapons. Soon, we reached a row of luxurious villas. Jivan stopped the bike. "We're here." Before us stood a massive 4-story house with overgrown trees. She casually twirled the pistol in her hand as she approached the door, not forgetting to warn me, "Stay close, and don't do anything on your own." I quickly replied, "Got it." She carefully listened for any sound from inside. We haven't been to this area in a while. Sensing it was safe, Jivan opened the door and went in. There might be some trouble. I hurried in right after her. Whoa. I was greeted by the sight of a lavish living room, filled with expensive furniture. I couldn't help but swallow hard. Walking past a brown leather sofa, I thought to myself, even this couch must be worth a small fortune. Seeing me standing there dazed, she warned, "Don't dawdle, we have to be back before dark." A moment later, she was already on the second floor. She turned and said, "Let's check the master bedroom." Jivan was extremely cautious as she entered. The room was huge. She scanned it for a moment, then spoke. "Usually, the valuables are kept in here." Tong Xiu looked disappointed. "But this place looks empty. Let's go." Before he finished, he noticed her staring at a nearby mirror. A glint of realization flashed in Jivan's eyes. She then kicked the object in front of her, and I was shocked by her action. But my surprise immediately turned to shock. Whoa. The mirror shattered to reveal a gigantic safe. I stood to the side and asked, "How did you know there was a secret door here?" Jivan smirked, seeming a bit annoyed. She said casually, "My family's house was much grander than this. Hiding spots like these are nothing special. I was just too lazy to look for it last time." As she spoke, she opened fire. A shell casing dropped as she confidently shot the lock again. I winced at the deafening noise. Jivan braced herself and easily pulled open the extremely heavy safe door. I looked inside, stunned by the contents. What is this? On the left were several mysterious boxes, but on the right, my eyes were immediately drawn to a model ship made of pure gold. My heart leaped with joy. I'm going to be rich after this. Even its smallest details gleamed with a brilliant luster. She didn't even glance at it, turning to me and saying, "See if there's anything you need. Grab something quick, we're going to the next house." I lifted the precious object, my eyes sparkling as I practically drooled. Wow, a golden galleon. This is it. But then something else caught my eye. I glanced over and saw another gold item on a tray. A ring. I quickly snatched it up, my heart pounding with pure joy. Anything kept in a safe this secure has to be good. I was mesmerized by the blue gem on the ring and silently decided to pocket it first. Then I turned to Jivan and said, "Let's go." But seeing her strange behavior, I couldn't stay calm and screamed out in fear, "What's wrong?" She was already hiding in a corner, watching something outside, and tried to silence me. Shh. Jivan was incredibly tense. She ordered me, annoyed, "Keep your voice down." I was still clueless, asking loudly again, "What's going on?" Jivan had already dashed to the opposite window. Her military watch suddenly chirped, its blue screen flashing. Her eyes widened in disbelief. It was them. Seeing Jivan's reaction, he grew concerned. "What is it? Friends of yours?" Across from them, 3 figures were surrounded on a rooftop. His face a mask of blood, the second in command fired relentlessly. The leader, her face pale with fear, screamed at the others, revealing their attacker's identity. "Thugs from the southern outskirts. They've tried to capture us for the West City slave trade before." Meanwhile, the third gunner took careful aim. A cigarette dangled from his lips, but it couldn't hide his fear. She continued to narrate their desperate situation. They're pinned down by a swarm of mutated wasps. A cruel smile touched Jivan's lips. Serves them right. Curious, Tong Chao accessed his own watch, pulling up data. Mutated wasps. She watched on, a plan forming in her mind. The bastards were under attack by the swarm. If we strike now, we could end them for good. But she grit her teeth. "Before they spot us, we're going out the window. Let's move." Sunlight streamed into the villa as Jivan moved with urgency. "Go!" She reached a concealed window and took a decisive leap. Seeing her land safely, he prepared to follow suit. But unfortunately, Tong Chao botched the landing, dislocating his ankle. He cried out as sharp pain shot through him. Jivan sighed, annoyed. "You're so fragile." A thought struck her. "Have you not had the gene enhancement serum?" He struggled to keep up. "Can you buy that serum?" Jaivan glanced back. One dose cost about 30 eggs. The urgency made her snap. Enough talk, move it. Suddenly, a bullet zipped past her head, and she instantly dodged back. Their leader had spotted them. Hey, stop right there, get over here and help. Jaivan responded by raising her rifle and returning fire. She screamed back in fury. Help you? In your dreams. Taking cover, she shoved the weapon at Tong Chao. Here, cover me. Staring at the rifle, his mind went blank. Cover fire? How do I do that? The enemy then unleashed a hail of bullets on their position. She scanned the area, urging him on. Hurry, take the gun and provide cover. He just stared at the weapon, his mind at war with itself. Finally, he stammered out the truth. I don't know how to shoot. Jaivan could only click her tongue in frustration as she activated her watch. I knew taking this job with you was a mistake, she grumbled. She reached out as 2 items materialized, and his jaw dropped. What are those? He asked. She shot him an annoyed glance. Glow rounds and a smoke grenade. To drive off the swarm, she tossed them down, adding, You'll pay me back with food later. Seconds later, a huge explosion erupted, spreading fire and thick smoke. The enemy leader shielded his face. What the hell was that? The sheer terror on his face made her scream a warning. Run! Using the smoke as cover, the 2 of them bolted for safety. Seeing them escape, the man fired wildly. You're not getting away! A bullet shot toward her. Jaivan instantly activated her energy shield. Beep! But the shield shattered on impact. The bullet grazed her, and blood sprayed into the air. Tong Chao saw it and cried out in panic, Shenji Ivan! A wave of pain left her staggering as he kept calling her name. Shenji Ivan! She grimaced, glancing down at her wound. Just then, Tong Chao finally fired the rifle back at them. Are you okay? He yelled. I'm fine. Jaivan forced out. Just keep moving. With that, she lunged forward. They barely dodged the bullets, only for the wasp swarm to fire a volley of stingers. Boom! The enemy leader ducked behind a wall, cursing. Damn it, this is hell! A few wasps buzzed over their heads as they ran. Jaivan quickly raised her gun and shot them down. Focusing her strength into her right leg, she launched herself high into the air. Ha! Jaivan expertly maneuvered an all-terrain hovercraft to catch her. She tilted the vehicle, extending a hand to him. Grab on! Their hands met. The enemy leader peeked over and roared, Don't run, you cowards! She flew them away, ignoring the man screaming her name from below. Shen Jaivan! Jaivan puffed her cheeks, annoyed. Tong Chao just scratched his head awkwardly. Sorry, I'm not used to this. I promise I won't be a burden next time. Jaivan was sweating from her injury. She glanced back slightly. Just forget about it. Just practice your shooting. I'm not expecting you to be a fighter. Jaivan pressed a medical injector to her wound, and it healed almost instantly. Tong Chao stared, stunned by the miraculous recovery. The injection had healed her in seconds. His mind raced. The medicine here is incredible. Maybe it could even cure my parents. I have to get food to trade for this. He turned to her. I need to go back. I'll see you for the next operation. Jaivan faced him. The Namjia clan could show up at any moment. You're sure you want to leave now? He answered calmly. I have to. I really have something important to do. She frowned and waved him off dismissively. Tsk. Then go already. He stopped at the door, his voice apologetic. Next time I come, I'll bring some great food to make up for it. He then left, cautiously checking his surroundings. In a hidden corner, Tong Chao twisted a spatial ring and vanished. He was gone without a trace. Jai peeked around the corner. He's gone? Jaivan held up her ruined jacket and clicked her tongue in annoyance. Damn that Namjia clan. They ruined my reactive armor. Jai spoke up timidly. Does that mean you can't wear it anymore? An earpiece materialized in her ear and she spoke decisively. A voice came through. Sis, the target has vanished. Jaivan replied calmly, I know. Jai, you can head back now. She set the broken armor down with a heavy sigh and looked up. That guy is more than he seems. Leaning against a metal crate, she wondered, so, what's my next move? Elsewhere, Tong Chao held a small golden boat in his hands, a triumphant smile spreading across his face. This is perfect. With this, I can finally improve my family's life. Later that day, at 3:40 p.m., a young clerk looked up at him. Tong Chao covered his mouth, his eyes wide as he gazed at the jewelry inside the case. Finally, the saleswoman broke the silence. Can I help you, sir? You've been staring for an hour. Need something? The question made Song Chao jump with a start. He asked cautiously, I have a gold artifact to sell. Do you take gold items here? The clerk's face fell. We buy gold, but only with a receipt. No undocumented items. All right, I'll try somewhere else then. As he left, he thought anxiously, this won't work. I have to sell this gold. At 4 p.m., he exited another shop, the owner's voice ringing out, you're definitely a thief. An hour later, another rejection. I just have to keep looking. But the owner was blunt. We're not interested. Get out. 6 p.m. A gold shop was his only hope for quick cash. A shopkeeper finally asked, selling for 100 grams? Song Chao shot back. Less than 300? You're a crook. At 8:22 p.m., he sat slumped on a bench, gold in hand. It was completely unsellable. He never imagined having gold he couldn't liquidate. Song Chao squeezed his eyes shut, desperate for a plan. Suddenly, a voice. Kid, looking to sell some gold? He immediately looked up. Ah, yes, the man, Fu Yuan, seemed intrigued. The man offered, bring it to my shop in alley number 1. At Juji Antiques, Fu Yuan gestured inside. Please, come in. Then Fu Yuan spoke. Welcome to Juji Antiques. We don't ask questions here. He smiled warmly. I'm the manager, Zhu Fu Yuan. He got straight to the point. Son, aren't you going to show me? Song Chao hesitated. He explained. A flawless golden galleon, an art piece for the price of scrap gold. What do you say? Fu Yuan was impressed. Seeing the gleaming object, he gasped. Oh. He examined it with a loupe, stroking his beard. Pure gold, impressive. The materials and craftsmanship are excellent. It's a fine piece. Song Chao's nerves were stretched to the breaking point. Juji prides itself on fairness. We don't cheat. Fu Yuan weighed the ship. 1,790, 6.35 grams. He extended his hand. Let's call this a new friendship, young man. Just then, Song Chao's phone pinged with a notification. Fu Yuan added, bring any other treasures you find to my shop. He swiped his phone, thinking, the money came through. A bank notification. 740,000 deposited to his account. His hands trembled as he stared at the screen. Finally, I have money. The scene shifts. A hand knocks on a door. Zhang Min peeked out. Who is it? He commanded flatly. Open up. She watched him silently. Song Chao held up his phone. I'm here to pay you back. At the sight of the transfer screen, she snorted. Get inside. Transfer it to my son. I don't use this stuff. Zhang Min then yelled for Zhang Jun, who rushed over. I'm here. He frowned. Owed us for years, and you finally decide to pay up? But Song Chao was completely unfazed. Getting straight to it. Phone transfer. The son held out his QR code. Here. Zhang Jun glanced at his own phone. With a sneer, he muttered, an uneducated punk who can't even pay properly. No wonder your whole family are failures. Song Chao's brows furrowed. He shot back coldly. I owed you 10,000. I sent 12. The rest is interest. You should learn to be grateful. Otherwise, what's the point of your education if you lack basic decency? You're no better than an animal. Song Chao's voice was ice. But say one more word about my family, and I'll show you what happens. His expression shifted, terrifying the mother and son. Zhang Jun pointed as he turned to leave. Song Chao, you dare threaten me? He answered coolly. Is it a threat? His icy glare cut through him. Want to find out? Zhang Jun broke into a cold sweat under his gaze. Afternoon faded into evening. That night, a wave of relief washed over him. Debts paid. I'll get my parents a new bed, clean the house, and maybe hire a nurse. Or maybe a new house? He opened one eye. I wonder how those two sisters are. He glanced at the ring on his finger. Maybe I should go check on them. Back in the dark cellar, his footsteps echoed with a newfound confidence. He threw the door open excitedly. I'm back. Before he could finish, the cold barrel of a gun was pressed to his forehead. Jia Wen and Jia Mei each held a gun, ready for a fight. It's you. Song Chao was stunned by the welcome. Whoa, Captain, don't shoot. It's me. Jia Wen's expression was grim. Why are you here? He was confused. What's wrong? Did those guys show up? But her tone was cold. It's none of your concern. She was so distant. You ran away before. Why come back now? Song Chao hurried to explain. Look, I have a little sister. I was supposed to meet her at dusk. If I didn't show, she'd come looking. Jia Wen was surprised. Your sister? Why not bring her here? He fumbled for an excuse. Well, she's a bit of a handful. She turned away, her voice wavering. Is she infected? Song Chao quickly seized the out. Huh? Oh yes, she doesn't trust anyone but me, and she's aggressive. I was afraid she'd blow our cover. He quickly changed the subject. Anyway, let's drop it. As they both watched, he reached into his bag. I brought some cured meat and sausages for you two. Here, have some. The messy bowls and leftover bread showed someone had just eaten their fill. GMA let out a satisfied sigh. She rubbed her stomach, licking her lips. So full. I haven't eaten a meal that good in forever. Her mind was completely focused on food. Sis, why don't you marry Brother Song Chao? Then we'd never have to worry about food again. Jia Wen bopped her on the head, but the girl just grinned. Ow, Jia Wen laughed it off. Don't just sell your sister off like that. Seeing the two spirited sisters, Song Chao couldn't help but smile. A sudden thought broke the calm. That's right. She glanced at him. Our energy bricks are almost gone. We have to buy supplies at Linjiang Base tomorrow. We also need new combat suits. Want to come with? Song Chao's face lit up in surprise. Huh? As she turned away, he quickly replied, I'll go. Of course I'm going. Song Chao began listing on his fingers. A gene enhancement serum, a combat suit, dual pistols. I have plenty to buy, too. A sly smile touched Jia Wen's lips, but his next words were a total shock. Make that 10 sets. That's a lot. Isn't it too heavy? She immediately cut in. Wait. The gene serums at Linjiang are all basically the same grade. Injecting it multiple times won't have any effect. It's useless to buy so many. For this, Song Chao had an excuse ready. I have friends who aren't enhanced. I'll get a bulk discount. He then asked, so when do we leave? For some reason, her face flushed. 10 o'clock. But you better bring lots of food for trading, or we won't find enough. He gave a thumbs up. Don't worry, I'm fully prepared. The apocalyptic city looked almost the same, save for the ruined buildings that served as a grim reminder. 2 heavy bags dropped to the ground with a thud. As Jia Wen stared in disbelief, Song Chao acted nonchalant. This should be about enough, right? She was still lost in the sight of the fresh fruits and vegetables. The bags opened, revealing fresh, juicy food. Eggs, potatoes. Jia Mei was just as stunned. There's even cured meat and canned beef. Song Chao pretended not to see the sisters' amazement. You can have these 2 bags as payment. The rest should be enough to trade for my things, right? The 2 sisters nodded like machines. As Song Chao reveled in his excitement, man, I can't wait. Jia Mei timidly made her suggestion again. Sis, why don't you just marry him? Jia Wen was helpless against her gluttonous sister. What nonsense is that? Let's go. An all-terrain hovercraft flared to life and took off. With a powerful hum, the 3 of them sped off in the vehicle. Suddenly, Song Chao spotted something. Hey, there's a modern base in the distance. Its entrance walls looked incredibly fortified. Song Chao leaned forward to ask Jia Mei, is that a military base behind those walls? She enthusiastically explained, that's right. Besides the usual military weapons, they also have fighter jets. It's heavily fortified with triple-layer walls, minefields, and dense electric grids. Mutated creatures don't dare approach this human settlement, this military stronghold. This is the Linjiang base. But as they got closer, they saw a massive line of people waiting to enter the base. Stern guards stood by, occasionally yelling to keep order. Stay in line, swipe your cards and move forward. Under their strict control, the crowd moved with an almost unnatural orderliness. Soon, it was their turn. Song Chao was still curious, and whispered, how much food does 1 electronic credit cost? Jia Wen didn't bother looking at him. Tapping her military watch, she replied coolly, 1 credit is worth half an egg. She then swiped her card at the gate. At that moment, a nearby guard taunted them with a disgusting smirk. Well now, have the West City sisters started keeping a man? His cheap taunts didn't faze Jia Wen at all. She turned and pointed at him. Shut up and do your job. The guard froze for a moment. Then he and his buddies burst out laughing. A moment later, they recited a scripted line as the group passed through the gate. Welcome to Linjiang Base. The scene before him made Song Chao gasp. Whoa, a spectacular view. Like something straight out of a science fiction movie, unfolded before his eyes. This was the Linjiang Base of the post-apocalyptic world. Every person and every corner bore the mark of modern machinery. An amusement area still glowed brightly, a noisy beacon of life in a world that was slowly fading away. Before he could recover from his shock, the next rule put Song Chao on guard. Surrender our weapons? Isn't it dangerous? Unlike the rookie, Jia Wen calmly checked her things and reassured him. Don't worry, the residential and commercial areas are perfectly safe. Even though she said that, he still felt a bit hesitant. But his eyes wandered to a corner, where emaciated, homeless people were huddled. Was this place really safe? Whether by chance or on purpose, one of them met his gaze. That single look made Song Chao freeze. His first impression shattered. This was the real Linjiang base. A shout suddenly cut through his daze. "Come and take a look." An old merchant was hawking his newest acquisition, a first-rate beauty, just brought in from the southern region, only 10 electronic credits. That cheap price didn't stir her deep, hollow eyes, as if all emotion had long since been beaten out of her. Song Chao silently converted the currency. 10 credits. 5 eggs. The price was so low he couldn't help but swallow. But his reaction did not escape Jia Wen's gaze. Feeling sorry for her, she turned away, dropping a cold warning. "I suggest you don't get involved in other people's business." Her tone made Song Chao feel strangely defensive. He quickly shook his head, waving his hands. "No, no, no. Why would I waste food on something like this? Let's just go exchange for credits first." Jia Wen's face turned grim. "Good. They may be human, but for a scrap of food, they will do anything." Her gaze darkened. Every word was laced with chilling hatred, including slitting your throat while you sleep and taking all your things. Then, her attitude shifted in a heartbeat. "We're here," she announced. Ahead stood a towering building with a single, flickering currency exchange sign. Jia Wen stomped her boot on the pavement. The sharp sound emphasized her warning. "When we go in, don't say a word, just act cold." Her deeper motive was unclear, or maybe she just feared her companion would lose face. That way, others won't look down on you. The moment they entered, every eye in the room instantly turned to them. Ngo Trong smirked. "Hey, big sister, selling something good?" Ji Van just slammed the bag onto the table. The sheer size and weight of it were shocking. He jumped back. "What is this?" She smiled coolly. "All for crypto." Ngo Truong felt his mind reeling, asking again to be sure. Everyone wanted to trade. His staff stared with mouths agape. So many eggs. It had been ages since they'd seen such a massive haul. They shouted in disbelief. "Green vegetables, and they're fresh." The closer he looked, the more shocked he became. "What? Is that pork? And at least 3 kilos of it." That thunderous shout turned every head in the market. Still reeling, Ngo Truong asked, "Where did you even get?" A hand stopped him as his staff whispered urgently, "Don't ask. They could be heirs from a major faction. Don't attract trouble." Hearing that, Ngo Truong's mind instantly reset. He snapped back into professional mode. "Right. I'll process this for you now." "One moment." Ji Van watched coolly. Arms crossed. "Good. Hurry up," she added. "And no tricks. I'm watching." Once the deal was done, they left. My shouted with pure joy. 470 points. She was so happy she started dancing right there. "We can buy so much good stuff. Let's go shopping." Her excitement quickly infected the other two. Tong Xiu knew this was all thanks to the sisters' hard work. He didn't hesitate to thank them. "Right. You two were a huge help this time. Buy whatever you want. It's my treat." They laughed, completely unaware that someone lurking nearby had heard everything. "Oh, we couldn't possibly. If you weren't so eager, I might believe you." From the shadows, a man narrowed his eyes, nodding, satisfied with what he'd heard. "Looks like we found ourselves a big score." He then ordered in a low voice, "Go inform Hoka." In a flashy bar, a voice reported the incident. "Hoka, they're a seriously fat target. I saw it myself. They traded for over 400 in crypto." This piqued the interest of the man called Hoka. "Oh? Then that's no small sum." Seeing the mild reaction, Sado added more. "Hoka, they traded it for pork, vegetables, fruit, and 3 kilos of pork." Just as expected, the boss leaned in seriously. "Pork? Are you sure about that?" Seeing he had the boss hooked, Exadu swore, "Absolutely, 100% certain." Hosa glanced up, an unmistakable glint of greed in his eyes. Now, that is a rare commodity. He leaned back lazily, arm draped over a woman, and asked in a low, raspy voice, "So, how many of them are there?" Zadu knew the deal was on and answered eagerly, "Just 3. 1 guy, 2 girls. They're still at the market." Ho Chie said nothing. He just flicked his ash and called over his shoulder, "Lao Lu." The man behind him stepped forward for his orders. "Have our men watch the road to Jiaoxi." The subordinate gave a short, "Yes, sir." With the order given, Ho Cha took a long drag, his gaze drifting upward. Anyone with pork these days is a true fat cat. He hadn't even made a move, but he could already taste the sweet reward. If this job pays off, haha. Meanwhile, a bright moon hung high in the sky, bathing the ground in its cold, pale light. Jai Van double-checked with him quietly. "Are you sure you want to go to the trade market?" Tong Xiu answered eagerly. "Yeah, I have things to buy too." She had no reason to object. "All right then, we'll split up later." Soon, they arrived, greeted by rows of incredible stalls. Rows of advanced weaponry were on full display. Tongxue froze, completely stunned, unable to process the sheer scale of the market. He jumped as his watch suddenly spoke. "Greetings." The robotic voice left him completely baffled. "This is the automated support interface, providing sincere guidance for your shopping journey." Before he could question it, a 3D interface materialized in front of him. A shimmering screen of light hovered in midair. "Welcome to the Linjiang-based trade market." Seeing the advanced tech up close, Tongxue was blown away. He couldn't stop gasping in amazement. No matter how many times he browsed, he was still in awe. This market truly has everything. Then, Tongxue suddenly remembered something and sighed. He was thinking about how Jiaivan and her sister had treated him. Jiamai had just pushed him aside. "You stay right here, okay?" "Sorry, brother Tongxue. There's something I just have to buy." "Those two," he grumbled. The more he thought, the more annoyed he got. Ditching their sponsor, I should give them a bad rating. But being a guy, he didn't stay mad for long. Then, his eyes landed on a small item in a glass case. An automatic pistol. Suddenly, Tongxue's eyes lit up. His gaze shifted to the weapon's info panel next to it. His finger hovered over the purchase button. "This is a post-apocalyptic world," he thought. "I need to arm myself. I can't always hide behind the girls." And just like that, Tongxue had new gear. An automatic pistol, plus guards for his neck, shoulders, and knees. With his new items, he walked away, grinning. He admired the pistol in his hand, a solid set of gear to start. As he was admiring his haul, a sharp voice called out, "Got some new clothes?" Tongxue turned, overjoyed. "Ah, you're back!" Jiaivan and Jiaimai had also picked up new items. Jiaivan eyed Tongxue's gear and nodded. Not a bad choice in defensive equipment. Her own new outfit gave off a much stronger aura. Jiaivan smirked, her expression totally deadpan as she spoke. "Looks like you finally learned your life is important. By the way, we spent all the money." Hearing that, his face went pale. "What? But you said it was a huge amount." The sisters immediately started defending their spending. "It was. That's why we bought lots of good stuff, Brother Xu. This candied fruit is amazing. Your great kindness will forever be in my heart." The three of them began to bicker loudly. "By heart, you mean your stomach, right? Heh, don't sweat the details. Hey." At that moment, Huga, Lao Liu, and Shitu were deep in a conspiracy. Night falls on a desolate, empty lot. A drone was scouting the situation. Lao Liu watched through electronic binoculars, tracking every movement. After a moment, he slowly lowered them. He quickly reported to Huga, "Boss, the prey has arrived." Taking a drag from his cigarette, Huga smirked. "Excellent." His voice was low, laced with a sinister grin. "It's time for the kids to get to work." Before the attack, Huga gave one last order. "Don't kill the fat sheep, we're cashing them in." He took a deep breath, then roared with fury. "Open fire." His men, waiting for this very moment, immediately obeyed. The world erupted in fire, smoke, and deafening explosions. But through the raging inferno, a dark silhouette faintly appeared. The moment Huga saw it, he screamed, "What are you doing?" He furiously berated his men. "Didn't I tell you to hold your fire? How are we supposed to get paid?" Huga's steel-plated jaw clenched in absolute fury. "You bunch of morons. If they're blown to bits, this was for nothing." But as the smoke cleared, they only saw the vehicle's burning wreckage. Huga's eyes flashed with sudden realization. From the distance, a massive projectile shot toward them like a beam of light. The tables had turned in an instant. It was karma. Huga's crew took a massive hit. His men were swallowed by fire and smoke before they could even react. Watching the flames engulf their foes, a delighted voice cried out from the distance. "Wow." Smoke still drifted from the barrel of the gun. Jiamei grinned at Huga's crew, excitedly praising herself. "One shot, one soul." Blasted to smithereens. Huga, with his ironclad body, endured the blast. Enraged, he snarled, "Damn it!" In the utter chaos, he yelled, "What's going on? What happened here?" The fire still raged on. Huga guessed it was an artillery strike, but he immediately dismissed that thought. "No, it's an ambush. The vehicle was empty. They used it as bait, then hit us with a long-range rocket." Huga broke into a cold sweat, his brow furrowed with pure rage. If that was the case, the second missile would arrive any second. He roared at the top of his lungs. "Lauer! Lauer!" Lauer turned to receive his orders. "Take some men and eliminate that sniper." "Yes, sir." He quickly relayed the command. "You all, with me." They raced toward Song Chao's position. Realizing the danger, Song Chao urgently warned his teammate Jiamei. "They're coming for us." Jiamei's face fell as she cried out, "Aish." but then her eyes widened, locking onto the ammo box at her feet. The cannon's energy recharge wasn't finished. Jia panicked, scratching her head. This is a pain. I'm no good at mid to close range combat. But a second later, Jia let out a sigh, clicking her tongue. Whatever. She expertly assembled a heavy assault weapon, saying, My sister once said there's no problem that overwhelming firepower can't solve. Her fighting spirit ignited. Jia voice dropped. At the same time, other sniper drones deployed, lining up in the air. As for Jia, she donned her armor, hefting a rifle her own size. She smiled, finishing her thought. And if it can't, it just means you need more. After being played by Song Chao's group, Lao Er charged forward in a rage. His boots thudded heavily on the ground. Tai Tu and Mei Hong followed, rifles ready. Move out, follow me. Full of confidence, Lao Er pointed. We'll take out that sniper on the ridge, and fast. Almost there, pick up the pace. Suddenly, Tai Tu felt a chill run down his spine, but before he could react, he was the first to fall. Watching Tai Tu's powerful body fall in a hail of gunfire, someone gasped in utter shock. Mei Hong urgently reported the situation. Second boss, Tai Tu's been hit. The words struck Lao Er like lightning. What? Observing closer, she realized it was a beam rifle. Get to cover, now. Before she could finish, she was hit and vaporized in an instant. Watching his comrade die, he could only curse under his breath. Damn it. He stared into the darkness, wondering what was attacking them. Seeing 4 glowing dots and Jia distant silhouette, Lao Er hazarded a guess. Drone cannons. One of the cannons spun, powering up for another attack. The mere sight of it sent a chill down his spine. How is that possible? One person has this tech? From her perch, Jia saw his fear and gave him a chilling, predatory smile. Sensing his end was near, Lao Er still charged forward. The 4 drone cannons flashed brightly in the darkness. Beams of pure energy shot through the air at incredible speeds. The light was blinding. The unlucky Lao Er was hit, and was gone for good. Only his final, terrified scream echoed through the night. After eliminating them one by one, Jia spirits lifted. Just like my sister said, night fell over the entertainment district. Meanwhile, at the Jianglin headquarters, a man calmly struck a match for his pipe. He took a long, slow drag, breathing out a cloud of white smoke. Suddenly, Han Jing appeared. She, too? What are you doing here? The question soured his mood. Without waiting for an answer, he changed the subject. You sold intel on those sisters and the rich kid to Tiger. Aren't you going to stick around to pick up the scraps? But she too just laughed. Tiger? Ha ha, what do you know about him? Han Jing answered honestly. I hear he's from Nanjiao, a professional slaver. She too nodded at the answer, adding, That's right. The Nanjiao folk love the business of kidnapping and selling slaves. Simple-minded fools. They never check their targets' files, they just charge right in. She too then cracked a smug, knowing smile, which means they die easily. It'd be a waste to leave their supplies behind, better for us to enjoy them. So that was his real plan, right? Meanwhile, Hugo was fighting for his very life, his eyes filled with panic as sweat poured down his face. Just then, Jiaivan charged out to face the enemy. And there were a lot of them. Hugo grit his teeth, turning to look. His cocky attitude vanished, eyes widening in shock. She had a gun pointed right at him. You worked hard on that ambush. Let's play. Jiaivan's power lived up to her title, the Overlord Flower. With every shot Jiaivan fired, she whispered, 1, 2. Enemies fell one by one, without a final word, while she enjoyed her handiwork. 3, 4. Amidst a hail of enemy fire, her kill count steadily rose. 5. Even with a helmet, that guy couldn't escape his fate. Jiaivan gracefully dodged bullets in midair, whispering, 6. Hugo saw his chance and ordered, ground her and finish it. But Jiaivan heard every word. She already had a counter. Second jump, activate. A platform instantly appeared beneath her feet. Thanks to it, Jiaivan stood in midair, stunning her enemies. The blonde-haired man clutched his weapon, his face a mask of terror. While they were still confused, she acted swiftly. Jiaivan dropped down in front of one dazed enemy. Below, her unexpected move left him bewildered. From her sleeve, Jiaivan flicked out a razor-sharp knife. She raised her hand high, her deadly gaze locked on her prey. Her speed was so fast, the man was frozen in place. He couldn't even react before a painful death took him. Jiaivan spoke coldly. Number 9. Her decisive, ruthless strike terrified the enemy. Huge's expression turned just as ugly. She swiftly retracted the blade and carefully explained, I just got this new combat gear. Thanks for helping me test it. With that, she stepped on the enemy's corpse, a chilling smile on her face. You've all worked hard. Everything began 30 minutes earlier. Under the dark night sky, Song Chao noticed something was wrong. There's an ambush ahead. Unlike his worried tone, Jivan calmly checked her messages. We did buy a lot of gear at the base. It's normal to be targeted. Jaimai, provide artillery support. I'll charge in like usual. She happily accepted. Roger. Song Chao flinched when his name was called. As for you, young master, stay with Jaimai. I'm not expecting you to fight. He felt confused. Young master? Jaivan continued the plan. We'll use this car as bait to draw their fire. We'll hit them before they can react. But Song Chao found this too complicated. Is that necessary? Can't we just go around? What? Avoid them? The idea made her grit her teeth in anger. What nonsense are you talking about? She jabbed a finger in his face. Listen up, they're here for you. The news sent a shock through Song Chao. His face grew paler with every word Jivan emphasized. To steal your fortune, for your bloodline, to enslave your mind, and to take your life. After listing the reasons, she slowly lowered her hand. Now, I ask you, should we eliminate the trash who want to rob you, enslave you, sell you, and kill you? Don't you think sending them to their graves is the right choice? Back in the present, Jivan flicked another blade from her sleeve. She coldly attacked the enemy, sending him to his grave. Gun in one hand, blade in the other, she took them all on alone. Even when bullets hit Jivan, they did no damage. This only demoralized them. Damn it, we can't get through her armor. As bullets rained down, she slid forward. She went prone, dodging every threat. Finally, she reached a large rock, using it as cover from their volley of attacks. When she went to return fire, she realized her gun was empty. Her expression went blank as she seriously admitted, maybe I was a bit too cocky. Tai, she clashed with Huang Chu, his hot temper flaring. Get out of my way. He aimed a massive cannon at his opponent. The condensed magic within it began to vibrate. Tai, she roared. Go to hell. Jivan glared at him with hatred. The fire raged violently, its roar drowning out all sounds. In an instant, the flames reached Jivan. She looked up, shielding herself with one arm. She quickly stood and used her power to block the attack. Kinetic shield. The projectiles flew fast. Luckily, she activated her shield in time. Jivan looked towards the enemy, tense. Meanwhile, Tai, she continued his relentless assault. Seeing his opponent in trouble, Huang Chu gloated. Haha, she's finished this time. Jivan's cover was blown to pieces. The sound was like boiling lava. Tai, she watched, anticipating the result. Did it work? Unable to see, he ordered. Too much smoke. Someone go check. Just as Tai she was distracted, a bullet flew out of nowhere. It came so suddenly, he couldn't react and cried out in pain as he was hit. The smoking barrel lowered. The shooter was none other than Jai Mai. Pleased with her shot, she finished her duty, and added a reminder. Don't forget there's a cannon at a distance. With an opening cleared, Jai Van regained her momentum and charged. Good work. Jai Mai. She dashed forward, firing rapidly. This time, the bullet hit Huang Chu. Someone else, unable to accept it, cursed. Damn it. His trembling hand raised a gun at Jai Van. Damn it. Huga raged, repeatedly cursing. Damn it. And he fired without hesitation. His eyes filled with fury. Go to hell. The bullet shot forward at incredible speed. Jivan noticed at the last second, quickly tumbling to evade. Jiaimai watched in horror, and Song Chao was just as panicked. Thinking his opponent was down, Huga grinned triumphantly. Meanwhile, Jiaimai cried out, Sister! At the same time, Song Chao yelled, Shen Jivan. Just as Jivan was about to fall, she caught herself with one hand and aimed. Her finger immediately pulled the trigger. The attack caught Huga completely by surprise. Instantly, the bullet pierced him, making him scream in agony. His horrific scream echoed through the area. He was attacked again, but Julan reacted just in time to save Yinghu. Smoke still curled from the barrel. Now, Jai Van was fully equipped. She pointed her gun at their group. Huga grit his teeth, enraged by his disadvantage. She looked at him and demanded, Your name is Yinghu? Jia Wen's words dripped with cunning. You brought this many people to ambush me? Is that really all? She then taunted him with every syllable. Stop calling yourself Brother Tiger. Jia Wen expertly spun her gun, her voice full of sarcasm. What's wrong? With a triumphant smirk, she provoked her foe. Come on out and play. A corner of her lip curled up, victory already in her eyes. Weren't you here to rob us? You can't steal anything from the shadows. Against this display, Huga ordered a retreat. We're leaving, Chulan cried out, shocked. Brother Tiger? But his decision was firm. These weren't fat sheep. At his command, they quickly rose and left. Huga realized in a panic they were wolves in sheep's clothing. The entire area was now a desolate wasteland. Jia Wen scanned cautiously to her left, then her eyes darted to the right. Raging fires consumed the bodies, littering the ground. The Iron Killers had been utterly crushed, fallen on the battlefield. A system notification appeared, showing enemies in a 1,000-meter radius. There was no tactical data available. Right then, Jia Wen was still searching for someone. Did they get away? Finally, a familiar voice made her turn. Jia Mei ran joyfully towards Jia Wen, calling out her name. Sis? Seeing her younger sister, she smiled back. But before Jia Mei could finish, Jia Wen suddenly collapsed. Jia Mei panicked and rushed to her side. Sis. Song Chao, watching nearby, noticed something was wrong. Jia Wen's lower abdomen was bleeding. She cursed through the pain. Damn it, those bastards had armor-piercing frag rounds. The graze on her waist was still smoking, her armor had been breached. Good thing the rest of them lost their nerve, and ran off like cowards. Suddenly, a flash of fear crossed his eyes. Not wanting to waste time, Jia Wen ordered, We're going back to Linjiang now. At the Linjiang sickbay, Jia Wen spoke. Take me to Dr. Su. She knew that for this kind of wound, only Dr. Su could handle it. A voice echoed through the sterile medical room. Well, this is a rare sight. The operating table looked state-of-the-art. You actually miscalculated? The mocking tone continued. The first time you've been sent here for misjudging your armor's strength. The taunt came from Su Jing, a senior doctor at the private Linjiang facility. Seriously, I almost died laughing. Then, she called her full name. Shen Jia Wen. Face contorted in pain. Jia Wen growled. Shut your mouth, she explained the situation through gritted teeth. Who would have guessed those Nandao thugs had rounds that could pierce Class 2 armor? Shu Jing replied nonchalantly. Some smuggler probably sold it cheap. I guess you were just unlucky. Her hands were busy, but her mouth never stopped moving. Heard you're escorting some rich guy, a fool with more money than sense? Jia Wen simply confirmed. Something like that. Shu Jing seemed surprised by this. Well, that's rare. You're being unusually honest today. Jia Wen had no energy to argue. Jia Wen added, Besides, I was already seen, so denying it is useless. Neither of them realized how worried she truly was. Shu Jing reassured her, Relax. Your sister is waiting right outside, worried sick about you. Then, she remembered Song Chao. But that rich guy you're with, he seemed really interested in the enhancement pod. Speaking of him, Shu Jing offered her assessment. Plus, from the looks of him, it's obvious he's never had any enhancements. It was probably his first time even seeing a chamber, and that makes me curious. What's his deal, anyway? Jia Wen's cheeks flushed slightly, and flustered, she gave a vague reply. How should I know? Shu Jing decided not to press the issue. Fine, I won't pry. But when you were gearing up, didn't you install an extra battery for your armor? Or a shield generator? Jia Wen let out a small, panicked gasp. Ah. Her face filled with guilt as she went silent. The silence in the room grew heavy. Shu Jing tactfully changed the subject. So, no anesthetic again, right? Jia Wen shook her head. Yeah, that's right. Don't need it. She spoke through the searing pain. Anesthesia takes too long to recover from. Suddenly, a dangerous smile played on her lips. A good show is about to start. If I'm late, I won't just miss the drama, I won't even get a seat. Yeah. Hearing this, Shu Jing let out a small, oh. Shu Jing didn't buy it for a second, stating bluntly, What gives you the delusion that you can run around right after I take this out? I'll remove the bullet directly, but to recover your strength and nutrients, you'll need to rest for at least 2 hours. Do you understand? She said coldly, enunciating every word. My dear classmate, Shen Jia Wen. Shu Jing's chilling aura made her panic. No, wait. Without another moment's hesitation, she lunged forward to begin the procedure. Still want to see your show? You must be dreaming. In a desolate, abandoned building, completely empty. The bar was lit, but eerily silent. Suddenly, Hu Ge was slammed hard against something. He let out a pained, trembling groan. Lao Ba and Chulan rushed over in a panic. Brother Tiger. Chulan helped Hug up, then barked an order. Don't just stand there, idiot. Get help, and bring the med kit. Startled, he replied, Ah, right. And with that, Lao Ba took off running. Chulan yelled after him. The med kit is in the back room. Where the hell is everybody? She turned back with a forced smile. Brother Tiger, just hang on. Help is on the way. Damn it! Huga cursed under his breath. You idiot! He then asked. Don't you realize something is wrong? Just then, Lao Ba returned. Brother Tiger! His face was pale with terror. The men we left back at the house are gone. At these words, Chulan froze in complete shock. He frowned grimly. We've got uninvited guests. A gun was raised. A cloaked figure stepped forward, weapon aimed. Suddenly, more masked figures appeared, surrounding Huge's crew. They slammed Chulan's head to the ground. She began to tremble uncontrollably. Tiger! Brother Tiger! He gritted his teeth. Shut up! What did you mean before? Suddenly, a figure slowly approached. Sato took a drag from his cigar and smirked. Seeing him, Tiger Bro cried out. Sato! The air in the bar grew heavy with tension. Huge's crew was instantly surrounded. They all froze, seeing one man step forward. Sato. Huge glared at Sato's arrogant smirk, utterly furious. But exhaustion made him stutter. You're on my turf. What is the meaning of this? No one saw this coming. What? Laoba collapsed, hitting the ground hard. Shadow just laughed, as if it were a simple lesson for a junior. My apologies, Boss Huka. Since your man interrupted, I disciplined him for you. A dangerous glint appeared in Huka's eyes. I'm from Nanjiao, you dare touch me? Boss Dulang. But Shadow wasn't even listening, just nodding along. Ah, right. And Boss Dulang is in charge of Nanjiao. But Shadow's next words left, Huka stunned. He's gone. You messed with Shen Jiawen, and someone got angry. The three other Linjiang bosses demanded an explanation from Nanjiao. Ignoring the fury on his face, Shadow continued speaking. So, Boss Dulang was fitted for cement shoes and dumped in the river. As expected, his eyes widened in shock, but Shadow wanted more. But someone felt that wasn't enough, so they called Yan Wang's men to help you move. The soldiers watched, alert and unfazed. Hu Xie and Chulan's crew were pinned to the ground, having already given up resistance. All they could do was listen. Boss Hu Xie, this is tough on us too. Just look at the state you're in. The words fueled Huka's rage. He gritted his teeth, wishing he could send this bastard straight to hell. Shadow's words became even more twisted. Might as well finish the job. Do your brothers a favor. The petty greed was written all over his face. Just transfer your credit points and those land deeds to us. But far from this tense bar, a certain laboratory was completely silent. Strands of DNA drifted in the liquid. Song Chao stared into the tank, completely captivated. The tank was massive, filled with the constant, soft sound of flowing water. In the quiet room, a voice from behind suddenly caught Song Chao's attention. It seems you're very interested in the enhancement fluid. Xu Jing calmly stepped out, holding something unidentifiable in her mouth. Dr. Xu, Song Chao called out, then quickly asked about the patient. Is Shen Jiawen okay? Xu Jing acted like it was nothing, just a minor surgery. Jia Mei is looking after her now. He felt a wave of relief. Oh, that's good. But then his eyes started darting around nervously, avoiding her gaze. Of course, this clumsy act didn't escape Dr. Xu's sharp gaze. Little brother, want to try some gene enhancement? The offer caught Song Chao completely off guard. His heart wavered for a moment, and his voice came out quiet and hesitant. How much is it? She immediately shot back a staggering price. 800 credit points. Payment plans are available. He was completely stunned. That's a bit steep. Xu Jing disagreed, taking the object from her mouth and starting her sales pitch. Expensive? My friend, I think you've got it all wrong. The enhancement serum is one of this era's most important inventions. This so-called gene enhancement fluid is incredibly powerful, because with it, humanity can finally survive the threat of strange, mutated creatures and even withstand high radiation environments. You can eat mutated food for sustenance, your physical skills are heightened, and your strength and stamina are pushed far beyond normal limits. An item this good isn't something you can just buy anywhere. Song Chao was sweating as he listened, and she wasn't done. Get it? The selling point isn't just strengthening your body. Its real selling point is the foundation for survival and the dignity that comes with it. Xu Jing felt her price was a bargain for what she was offering. So, do you still think it's expensive? After a long pause, Song Chao agreed to pay the massive sum. He submerged himself in the enhancement tank, wearing only a pair of boxers to protect his family jewels from any prying eyes. Outside, Xiao Tong celebrated for its master. Congratulations, Dr. Xu. A successful sale with a 5 to 100% profit margin. She was absolutely delighted. She was incredibly proud of her deceptive, no, her persuasive abilities. I don't know who he is, but one look told me he'd never seen gene meds. Selling high-end goods to a country boy for a huge markup is just basic business. Then, she thought of someone else. By the way, is Shen Jiawen resting quietly? Xiao Tong did a quick check, reporting back almost instantly. She left a letter for you and then fled. Xu Jing didn't seem surprised by the news. I knew it. The letter's contents appeared on the system screen. Had an urgent matter. I'll be back for my medicine later. Followed by a playful emoji. From Jiawen. After reading it, Xu Jing's face went dark. She needs to be taught a lesson. A crescent moon hung high over the glittering lights of the city. A faint humming could be heard. Just an ordinary citizen. Shadow skipped along cheerfully. Today was so much fun. His tone made Huang Shu freeze for 5 seconds. Huh? He asked with concern. Boss, Shadow, are you all right? But Shadow didn't seem to understand. Huang Shu repeated his question. Are you okay? You let Hu Cha live? But the boss just stared blankly, taking a drag from his cigarette. After a moment, it clicked. Shadow laughed, explaining through the smoke. Ah, ha ha ha, all of that guy's men have been eliminated. And his protectors from above? They're gone too. An image of Hu Cha appeared in his mind, sitting alone in a sea of blood. Besides, we were just helping Yan Wang this time. If they don't finish the job, it's not our mess to clean up, is it? The cigarette in his hand still glowed. Shadow coolly shrugged off the responsibility. The schemes of the big bosses aren't our concern. We were just hired to lead the way. But before he could finish, a voice cut in. And did those bosses who hired you tell you that you also owe ME an explanation? The question made him whip around in surprise. Huh? A pair of slender legs in steel-toed boots came into view, luring a mob to ambush me on my way home. Jiawen coldly laid out the plot, waiting to see who wins, then leading Yan Wang's men to clean out the loser's house. She raised an eyebrow, her voice low. Shadow, the reputable info broker. Don't you have something to say? Shadow looked wary for a second. Yeah. He instantly changed his tune, forcing a bright smile. Sister Shen, you're here. I heard you were injured. It's been too long. Jiawen shot back with cold sarcasm. Thanks to you, I'm not dead yet. Shadow continued to play dumb. You're kidding, right? Didn't I warn you before the fight? Jiawen played along. But you didn't mention someone sold special armor-piercing rounds to that Nanjiao crew. Their verbal sparring ended, and they just stared at each other. Sato let out a sickeningly fake smile, and his men erupted in laughter. Ha 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 ha. Suddenly, Sato's expression turned savage. Overlord Flower Shen, Jiawen, what do you want? Spit it out. Having provoked him, Jiawen gave a playful wink. Relax a little. Thump. Sato, your eyes look so insincere right now. I'm just here to settle a score, and then talk business. When Jiawen mentioned a partnership, Sato repeated incredulously, Business? His voice rose. You want to do business with info brokers like us? He immediately turned to his crew for backup. We don't have any business with you. Huang Shu quickly agreed. That's right. Sato quickly forced a flattering smile. Of course, we always welcome Miss Shen to buy our intel. Jiawen gave him a sharp poke. Let me finish, she said brightly. We definitely have business. He could only groan, clutching his nose. Ignoring the flustered men, she casually continued. Isn't what happened today a business opportunity? Sato, fuming with pain and anger, snapped back. Oh, what do you mean? Jiawen excitedly explained her plan. Fishing, like today. You spread the intel, and it attracts all the greedy scumbags. Her words made Sato recall giving the intel to Hujie. Jiawen continued. Of course, it's best if we can control the numbers. I bring my team to eliminate them, and you guys clean up the bodies. She laid out the tempting offer. The battlefield loot is ours, but we'll sell it to you cheap. We split the rest 60-40. Jiawen then delivered the final blow. Don't tell me you're not interested. Even guys like Yan Wang would want a piece of this action. Her words left Sato completely speechless. Huang Shu stammered an excuse. But we're just info brokers. Hearing that, Jiawen scoffed in annoyance. If you can't call the shots, then go find your boss to decide. That shut him up completely. Suddenly, Jiawen flashed a gold card, waving it as a warning. And if you give us bad intel like today, we'll dock your cut. Huang Shu squinted at the card, a flicker of suspicion in his eyes. That looks like the blank gold card Huga used for his credit transfer. At that moment, a shocking realization hit Sato. He stared at his empty pocket in disbelief. When did she? Defeated, Sato could only manage a pained smile. Fine. Consider it my apology gift to you. Jiawen was pleased with his answer. Very smart. You can have it. Then, she winked and blew a flirty kiss. Good boy. I look forward to our partnership. Though furious, Sato forced a smile. Take care on your way out. As Jiawen hummed a tune while leaving, Huang Shu asked, Boss Sato, aren't you going to stop her? Sato replied coolly. There's no need. This confused him, and he pressed further. Why? He gestured to their hidden men. We have plenty of people on our side. His words made Sato sigh. You, huh? He then explained with a weary tone, still too young. I've told you before, she's not someone to mess with. Did you ever wonder why she'd dare to extort us all by herself? The explanation made Huang Shu realize his own naivete. Achoo! Just then, a red dot appeared right between his eyes. Huang Shu's face was in a sniper's crosshairs as a distant sneeze echoed. Meanwhile, Jiame covered her mouth as she sneezed. She was perched in a nearby skyscraper, rifle in hand. Did I catch a cold? Floating bubbles created a warm, damp feeling, making Song Chao feel like he was deep underwater. But a faint light pierced the darkness. He groggily opened his eyes and realized, an unfamiliar ceiling. A wave of dizziness made Song Chao rub his forehead. Ugh. Realizing he was in a recovery room, he shot up in bed. He examined his hands, wondering. The enhancement is complete. He felt all over his body, taking it in. He seemed much tougher than before. Suddenly, Song Chao froze. In a flash, he threw off the blanket to check if Peter was still okay. Just then, Jiawen walked in, catching him in the act. But unable to contain her curiosity, she asked, What are you doing? Her sudden voice made Song Chao scream. Wah! Jiawen forced an awkward smile. I'll step out for a bit. Make sure you clean up properly when you're done. She left a panicked Song Chao shouting, Wait, wait, wait! Meanwhile, Xu Jing's laughter echoed from the lab. Ha ha ha! She exclaimed, amused. Aya, what a masterpiece. The first thing he checks after waking up is that. A definite blind spot in post-op recovery data. Song Chao was mortified, begging, Please stop talking. But Xu Jing kept teasing him. What? I guess they don't have these enhancement drugs where you're from. How pitiful. Fine, I'll educate you on enhancement drugs then. She began to explain everything to Song Chao. Like I said before, these drugs primarily unlock a person's latent potential, but physical enhancement is just the beginning. There's a much longer path ahead. According to Xu Jing, the first stage of enhancement upgrades the body's natural abilities, including sight, smell, and taste, as well as cognitive function, reaction speed, muscle density, and overall physical conditioning. She delved deeper. Next is advanced enhancement. It lets the body break free of its genetic limits, entering the realm of superhumans. Your body becomes tougher, and your brain's processing power skyrockets. At the highest levels, you can even fight mutated creatures head-on. Xu Jing spoke passionately about the final stage, and at the very top is ability enhancement. But she suddenly stopped herself mid-sentence. Forget it. You don't need to know about abilities. You'll never meet an ability user in a small place like this anyway. Her words left the attentive Song Chao hanging. Xu Jing then gave him a serious warning. Basically, if you're unlucky enough to meet an ability user, just run. They're that dangerous. Her words cast a heavy silence over the room. Shen Jiawen casually sipped her nutrient drink, then chimed in with a smile. Sounds terrifying, but we've never seen any ability users here in Linjiang. Xu Jing's reply was oddly hesitant. Ah, that's true. Song Chao nodded. Dr. Su, I'm not thinking that far ahead. Can you just tell me the prices for the different enhancement drugs? I need to buy a batch of them. The higher the quality, the better. Hearing this, Jiawen added, A regular enhancement drug only costs a few dozen credits. Before he could finish, a cold slap sent him reeling. Shut your mouth and eat your nutrient fluid. Jai Mei quickly backed her sister. Besides, Shu's medicine is always pricey. Mid-sentence, Xiaotong charged like a wild bull, sending him flying. Gazing at the two on the ground, Xu Jing coolly stated her price. Too bad. Linjiang is just a small town. Model. High-grade and ability drugs aren't on the market here. If you want to buy quality enhancement drugs wholesale, you come to me. 200 a bottle. Just for you. Song Chao felt helpless. Oh, all right. Seeing his puzzled look, she thought to herself, He can't find out I just ripped him off. Then he asked again, So, can these drugs be used directly? Xu Jing paused. Huh? Then her face darkened. What are you thinking? Enhancement drugs must be prepared. Otherwise, what are doctors for? So Song Chao went, Oh, then are there any drugs that can be used directly? Xu Jing sighed. You really don't give up. Then an idea hit her. How about this? I can custom make you a batch of easy-to-use equipment. but I can't guarantee it will work for you. At least it won't cause problems, and it's expensive. But that was enough for Song Chao. No problem, please do it. She just let out a long sigh. Fine, as long as you think it's no problem. 500 per unit, non-negotiable. He secretly turned his head and grinned. Perfect. As his joy faded, he turned to Xu Jing with a question. By the way, how much do high-grade and ability drugs usually cost? Jia Wen, rubbing her sore nose, replied, Why do you think Linjiang doesn't have them? Isn't it because the price is terrifyingly high? She glanced at Song Chao's clueless face. A single high-grade ampule starts at 10,000. No one's seen an ability drug, but I hear they start at 100,000. Don't even think about it. We can't afford it. Hearing Jia Wen, Song Chao was stunned. 100,000. Inside the base, Xu Jing walked down the hall, talking to the two sisters behind her. What are your plans now? Jia Wen calmly made her request. We just need a place to stay for one night. Her request was quickly approved, with one condition. Pay up. She burst out laughing. Ha ha ha, we go way back. Waive the rent. Xu Jing immediately shot her down. In your dreams? Jia Mei then asked. Sister Xu, are you pulling another all-nighter? Be careful, you might collapse. Xu Jing's expression instantly darkened. A cultured, unarmed person like me isn't like you muscleheads. You can trade without capital. If I don't work overtime, who buys my food? Suddenly, Jia Wen's attention shifted behind her, her arm around Song Chao's neck. He seemed to be thinking about something, looking pensive. She grew curious. What is it? Still thinking about the drugs? He awkwardly denied it. I'm not. His evasive attitude clearly annoyed Jia Wen, who sighed in frustration. Then she turned to her sister. Jia Mei, you go back with Xu Jing first. She quickly agreed. Okay. Xu Jing saw no reason to refuse either. Fine, do as you please. Song Chao felt a chill as she advanced on him. What is it? Jia Wen grinned like a predator. I just want to give you a little suggestion. His expression went blank at her question. You want to buy high-grade and modified drugs? Song Chao admitted it. That's right. But what if there's no place to even buy them? She snapped back impatiently. You idiot. Then she slowly raised a finger, highlighting her idea. There is no market, so why not just create one? He didn't understand at first. Huh? Jia Wen was alluding to the underworld. If you have a big enough organization, a big enough territory, enough men and weapons. Her high heels clicked across the floor. Then what you want can naturally be bought. Her hand slammed against the wall behind Song Chao, making him break into a sweat. She raised an eyebrow smugly. Besides, don't you think having a faction ensures your own safety? He put a hand to his chin, deep in thought. That does make sense. Jia Wen eagerly pressed her advantage. Right? Song Chao tilted his head slightly. This wasn't something he could decide instantly, but I don't know any organizations here I could join. Suddenly she cleared her throat. About that. Song Chao. Jia Wen's next words completely stunned him. Look, you have money, I have fighting power. How about we make one together? In the space lit by blue floodlights, a disbelieving voice echoed through the base. You're saying we partner up and build one? Jia Wen quickly confirmed. Correct. Still pressed against the wall, Song Chao asked again to be sure. You can never be too careful. You want me to invest, to be your backer, and you'll help me open supply channels for the things I want? She confidently affirmed, Yes, that's the idea. You don't know anyone here, nor how to deal with hunters like us. Then, she laid out the harsh truth everyone knew. If you don't find the right backing, you won't survive anywhere, including in Jianglin with its 4 leaders, who sit atop the 4 powers. They each manage one of the city's 4 largest factions. But after yesterday, the South City boss is probably finished. Then, an image of the fallen warriors appeared. It was a grim scene. You saw the fate of those who tried to rob us. That's what happens when you have no backup. A dozen men gone in an instant. They were preyed upon in the chaos. Pathetic. Jia Wen promised again with certainty. A rich boy who's never dealt with these underground forces. Without a reliable power protecting you, what happened yesterday will keep happening. But we know this world inside and out. We'll make sure it's handled properly. Song Chao crossed his arms, hesitant. You make a good point. Feeling that she had successfully persuaded him, her expression lit up with unconcealed joy. So? However, his next question made Jia Wen freeze on the spot. But why didn't you start your own organization before you met me? She hesitated for a moment. But he wasn't finished. His next words were like daggers to Jia Wen's fragile heart. If I recall, after you two got the credits from selling food, you ran to the food street. And you ate your way down it, right? Let me guess, your gear is all old models. Did you spend all your money on food? She was left completely speechless. Tong Chao relentlessly attacked with sharp arguments. He said they knew the food was expensive, yet they ate every last scrap. His words were another piercing blow. The more she listened, the more she felt like an outcast. Even in a partnership, he held all the supplies. I wouldn't dare let you waste it, he said. Branded a glutton with zero credit, Jia Wen could only offer a pained, forced laugh. Ah, ha. Suddenly, her teary eyes widened as Tong Chao spoke again. He let out a long sigh, preparing to make a monumental decision. Then he firmly declared, let's do this. I'll support your team, but with a few conditions. In return, you must also keep your promise. Give me what I want. If I feel you can't deliver, I'll pull my funding and find someone else. Jia Wen's delicate eyebrows furrowed slightly, but as she listened, an interested smile curved her lips. Ha. She immediately extended her hand, the agreement made. It's a deal. They sealed their pact with a firm handshake. A pleasure working with you. Tong Chao rushed to Jia Wen's side, where she held a glowing object. She began. First, I'll brief you on the current situation. We have to deal with these factions later. It was a glowing, holographic polyhedron. It displayed endless data streams. Linjiang is divided into 5 zones. The East, South, Central, and North each have their own leaders and major factions. East City connects Linjiang to the outside. It has the largest black market and an intel guild. The leader is a merchant. His name is Fatty. He prefers to use money and information, not fists. Other powerful figures in different fields were also introduced. In short, the Central Zone is the hub for technology and heavy industry. The leader's title is the General, a man with a military past. He believes in military-style management. However, not everyone is noble, like the Lone Wolf Gang, who are numerous in South City. They thrive on banditry and slave trading. The jerks who attacked us yesterday were from there. The Lone Wolf's boss was a warmonger, but he's gone now. When she spoke of the final area, Jia Wen's expression suddenly became reluctant. And then there's North City. Tong Chao quickly noticed the change. He voiced his question. What about North City? Making her flinch. Oh. Jia Wen rubbed her temples. North City. It's a gathering place for all kinds of thugs and mercenaries, and some intel dealers. A strong figure with long, metallic hair appeared on the display. The leader is a scumbag named Yan Wang, and he has a history with my group. Just don't wander around there. Tong Chao grew more suspicious than ever. What kind of hellish lineup is this, he wondered. Her only reply was a forced laugh to brush him off. Ahahaha. He spotted another hole in her story. But in that case, is West City unclaimed? At this, she proudly declared, that's my territory. Hearing this, Tong Chao clapped his hands in mock admiration. Oh, wow. He was clearly teasing her. The others had large forces, while she only had 2 people. She stammered out an excuse. There are complicated historical reasons. Then she cleared her throat, regaining her composure. Jia Wen began to show off her prized district. Actually, the West Zone's potential is huge. The resources here are abundant, and there are many ancient ruins. Sometimes, you can dig up some good stuff. Tong Chao was clearly not convinced. So what's the catch? She placed a hand on her chin, thinking. Too many monsters. The development difficulty is too high, so no one dares go there. Hearing this, he was speechless. So that's why you're broke? Then he realized a contradiction. That's not right. Why don't the others just take your territory? Jia Wen used the chance to stress the most important point. Because it's my territory. On the second day, a tight budget forced the group to go see Xu Jing. She stood with her hands in her pockets, her expression as grim as a funeral. She couldn't believe what she just heard. You're out of money? The situation made Tong Chao laugh awkwardly, unable to meet her gaze. Ah, that's right. In a corner, Jia Mei whispered, Sister, are we really working with him? He seems so weak. Jia Wen's face went pale as she looked over. Ah, yeah. Then she whispered to her sister, Jia Mei, can you please be quiet? I'm begging you. Just then, Xu Jing pointed right at Tong Chao. Her voice was laced with irritation. Don't tell me I wasted all night on that stupid med box and now you don't want to buy it? He frantically waved his hands. Of course not. It's just. Tong Chao glanced at Jia Wen and Jia Mei. The credit points we got from selling food were mostly spent. The 2 sisters looked shocked and guilty, while Xu Jing seemed to understand immediately. Oh, is that so? Instantly, she turned to Jia Wen, her tone serious. Shen Jia Wen, you decide. Hearing her full name, Jia Wen turned in surprise. Hmm? Then, Xu Jing stated her terms. If you agree to be his guarantor, I'll allow a tab. But repayment will include 20% interest. Jia Wen immediately objected. No, your stuff is already expensive enough. Xu Jing frowned, her voice taunting. You get what you pay for. If you've got the nerve, then don't use it. I'll just put all this medicine back then. In the end, Jia Wen had to concede. Fine, I'll be the guarantor. The deal made, Xu Jing tossed a pouch to Tong Chao. All right, take it. His face lit up as he caught it. Thanks, I'll pay you back soon. With the transaction done, Jia Wen left. We'll be going now. Jia Mei also waved goodbye. Beneath dark circles and a weary face, Xu Jing just shooed them away. Get lost. Get lost. I need to sleep. Once they were gone, Xiao Tong spoke up. I'm surprised you gave them credit. Xu Jing turned away, speaking calmly. Old friendships aren't completely worthless. Of course, there are certain benefits. Curious, he waited for her to continue. But then, a sinister smile spread across her face. Is that Shen Jiawen really trying to lead a team of 5? Xu Jing leaned against the wall. I'm tired of Linjiang's stagnant, dead-water state. Her smile grew more cunning. How could I not give something this fun a little push from behind? She'll regret this later. After securing the loan, the group headed toward a bustling street. Standing at the entrance, Jia Wen's face was completely frozen. Gold? Tong Chao simply nodded in confirmation. That's right. I can't get supplies for free. We need something to trade. Hearing this, she frowned, asking, Why does your base need so much gold? He stroked his chin thoughtfully. It's not vital. Except for the gold. Things like art or antiques can also be traded. At this, Jia Mei sighed in frustration. Why is it all useless stuff? She muttered her assessment. The needs of your people are truly hard to grasp. Song Chao just chuckled and replied, Well, etiquette is a luxury for the well-fed. Considering the situation, Jia Wen scratched her head. Gold? But with only 3 of us, we couldn't carry much, even if we found it. He proposed a plan. How about buying from Shi Jiao's crew? She instantly rejected the idea. Don't be a fool. Trading food for gold? We'd be a laughingstock. After a moment's thought, Jia Wen made her decision. There's only one way. Hearing this, he grew curious. A flicker of doubt crossed her eyes, but she only said, Follow me. Immediately, Jia Wen led them through the market into a narrow alley. Seeing them, Old Mo flashed a brilliant smile. Welcome, welcome, such rare guests. The man eagerly greeted the 2 familiar faces. I never thought the Shi Cheng sisters would finally see reason. Here to give my business a boost? She had no patience for small talk and cut him short. Cut the crap. I'll state my needs directly. Old Mo chuckled. Fine, fine. You talk. Just then, Song Chao leaned over and whispered to the person beside him. Jia Mei, what is this place? She fumbled, unsure how to respond. Just wait. A moment later, Old Mo led the 3 deeper inside. They quickly saw people in handcuffs and collars. Song Chao muttered in realization. Is this a slave market? He scanned the area. His mind struggled to process the scene. Men and women alike, all wearing wary expressions. At that moment, Jia Wen stated her demands. I need 12 people, 8 men, 4 women, only skilled fighters and technicians. Furthermore, you will provide them with full gear. Hearing a potential buyer, hope sparked in some slaves' eyes, while others recoiled in fear. For Song Chao, only one word described this scene: human slaves. With their business concluded, the group quickly boarded their vehicles to continue the journey. They had just purchased a batch of slaves. These people would be reserve members and a labor source, joining the team formed by Jia Wen. Fei Shui and the others appeared anxious. This was the plan all along. Song Chao couldn't sit still in the car, glancing back again and again. He stared behind them one more time, lost in heavy thought. After they boarded, no one spoke. An unusual silence filled the vehicle. Each person seemed trapped in their own world. Finally, unable to stand the quiet, Song Chao complained. It's too silent. Jia Wen rested her chin on her hand, replying calmly. Their survival is uncertain. Their future is bleak. As slaves, they have nothing to talk about. Hearing her cynical remark, he leaned forward, intrigued, and asked another question. I thought you hated slavery, didn't you? The abrupt question made her hesitate slightly. After a moment of reflection, Jia Wen gripped a handle and spoke slowly. In principle. Her brow furrowed, revealing her clear frustration. I despise it. As the words left her mouth, Jia Wen gripped the wheel and accelerated. As if to escape the tense air, Song Chao silently watched the scenery flash by. Lost in thought, his face suddenly tightened. Something outside had startled him. Abruptly, Jia Wen turned to him. All right, let's head into the residential area and find what you need first. Then you'll go make the trade. We'll stay here and free these slaves. He looked at her with utter disbelief. You bought slaves just to set them free? It didn't seem like something she would ever do. Jia Wen's lip twitched as she suppressed her surging anger. What exactly are you trying to say? Just then, Jia Mei looked out the window. Ah, we're here. The vehicles came to a simultaneous stop outside an apartment complex. It was already late afternoon. The cars slowed to a halt before a massive villa. The building was grand, yet strangely silent. Seeing it, Song Chao's eyes widened in amazement. What is this place? Seeing his confusion, Jia Mei gently explained. After you left, we searched the nearby villas. All the easy-to-find gold is here. At that, Jia Wen opened her door and spoke decisively. You take a batch of gold and go. We'll bring the rest back later. With a cold demeanor, she stepped out of the car and placed her hand on a side gate. Then, she decisively ripped the gate clean off its hinges. The crash made Kana and the others whip their heads around, startled. Without delay, everyone filed out of the vehicles toward Jia Wen. Get out here, she commanded. Time to work. Once everyone was assembled, she began assigning tasks. Men, move those crates to the vehicles. Jia Mei, you take the women and clear out the miscellaneous items. Leave nothing. She quickly turned back with a cheerful reply. Got it. Next, Jia Wen gave Song Chao another order. Song Chao, pick out what you want later. Don't cause trouble with the rest. Her words left him stunned for a second. Huh? Oh. Wasting no time, she clapped her hands for attention, her voice stern and urgent. All right. Move it, a good job gets a reward. Bai Ren, standing nearby, made a sarcastic comment. So the Shicheng sisters are finally using human slaves. Song Chao just shrugged. It's all the same, anyway. Luo Jin's tone was bitter. A reward? In the end, we're just labor or cannon fodder to them. He then touched the iron collar on his neck. As long as we wear this explosive ring, we do whatever our buyers say. Jia Wen's expression instantly turned grim. Do you all think I'm lying? He challenged her, tilting his chin up defiantly. Aren't you? No longer holding back, she declared in a serious voice. What if the reward I'm talking about is your freedom? Her words hit like a thunderclap, shocking everyone. What? Bai Ren exclaimed. Are you kidding? A powerful aura radiated from Jia Wen. I'm not kidding. I won't just give you freedom. I'll give you jobs. Suddenly, she offered a mysterious smile. But I'm sure you all know there's no such thing as a free lunch, right? Fei Shui asked with suspicion. What do you want? Jia Wen remained enigmatic. You don't need to know that now. She faced the silent crowd, her voice firm. I'll only ask one question. Are you willing to take a chance? To see if my words are true. The boxes were cleaned and neatly organized. Song Chao's eyes widened in shock at the sight of the gold bars. Whoa, what is all this? Jia Wen explained calmly. All the easily found gold from around here is in there. He was visibly overjoyed and thanked her sincerely. She then added, almost 23 kilos of gold. There are also some carved gems and jade ornaments. With that, Jia Wen smiled at Song Chao. I've prepared a box of gold for you, about 6 kilos. Will that do? He couldn't hide his excitement. This is great. I can trade for so much. Suddenly, he remembered something. Ah. Song Chao turned to the two sisters. By the way, is there anything you two want to eat? Jia Mei's eyes had never sparkled so brightly. Beef, milk, eggs, sweets. Her sister searched her memory for her favorite food, some mushrooms and vegetables. And rice or bread would be even better. Hearing their requests, he laughed to himself. Ah, what a pair of foodies. He nodded gently. All right, I've got it. It might be a while before I can come back. Jia Wen's tone grew serious. Understood. I'll handle the team for now. As Song Chao grabbed the box's rope, something felt off. Slinging it onto his shoulder, he silently noted. This container feels surprisingly light, as expected from the technology of the future. With this, I could make a fortune just delivering food. Finally, he waved goodbye and departed. As Song Chao vanished, Jia Mei looked worried. Aren't you going to follow him? Jia Wen's expression darkened as she walked away. He's our partner now. We must respect each other's privacy. Jia Mei followed her. It's time to reward them. Her eyes widened. Are you serious? Jia Wen struck a confident pose and said firmly, when you trust someone, trust them completely. Meanwhile, in another area, the slaves waited, whispering cautiously. Ah, she's here. Is she really giving us freedom? Suddenly, a sharp voice cut in. You're just going to believe whatever she says? The air grew heavy. Just then, Jia Wen appeared on the stairs, her voice ringing out. "Everyone, gather round." She snapped her fingers. "Listen closely." Her gauntlet projected an image. "These are your indenture contracts. They also hold the program to deactivate your explosive collars. I can now fulfill my promise." But then, Jia Wen's voice turned grave. However, before that, to Kana and the others' shock, she retracted the contract, a mysterious glint in her eyes. "I have a proposition for you." The evening sun cast long shadows over the quiet villa. Inside, everyone discussed Jia Wen's plan. Chao Kui's eyes widened. "Build something?" Kana was just as stunned. "A core?" She smirked and confirmed. "That's right." Jia Wen was brimming with confidence. "I'm sure everyone here has heard of my sister and me, haven't you?" Below, Rui La nodded. "The Shenjia Wen and Shenjia Mei, sisters of West City." Bai Ren added knowingly, "They're a rare kind of famous. They survived in the West without a team, earning quite a reputation. I heard they despise slaves." But Heyman frowned. "Aren't they supposed to be lone wolves?" Hearing the murmurs, Jia Wen explained. "For certain reasons, I need to establish my own core, to expand my operations. Though you are all slaves, you each have unique talents." Luo Jin and his group listened in silence. Even non-combatants have exceptional skills in specialized fields. Kana watched intently, not missing a word. Finally, Jia Wen delivered her conclusion. "That's why I bought you. To trade your freedom for your service." The moment she finished, Luo Jin burst out laughing. "Ha ha, so that's how it is." He raised his voice. "If we don't agree, this collar won't come off, right? So what's the difference?" "It's just a prettier way of saying the same thing." Hearing this, Fei Shui and Chao Kui exchanged a doubtful glance. Though displeased, Jia Wen forced a pleasant smile to hide her rising anger. "How could you? There's a limit to such disrespect." "Ha ha ha." Her voice then turned serious. "You all should know. My reputation regarding slaves in Lajiang is quite well known." As she spoke, Jia Wen found the deactivation program. There, without hesitating, she pressed the command on her screen. "I keep my promises." The moment she spoke, the collar on Luo Jin's neck split in two. Stunned, he held the broken pieces in his hand, utterly speechless. "Whoa." Reactively, Kana touched her own neck. "Is this for real?" Behind her, Alina stared blankly at the device. Having kept her word, Jia Wen looked slightly smug. "Stay here tonight and think about it. I won't force anyone who isn't interested. By tomorrow, you are free to leave. I await your answers." As night slowly fell, a confused question echoed through the hall. "So, what do we do?" Li Ba replied with a sneer. "What else is there to do? I'm not about to bow down and follow a couple of women." Beside him, Wang Zuo ground his teeth while Bai Ren looked thoughtful. "But I'm not leaving empty-handed either." Inside, lit only by a dim nightlight, Jia Wen slept soundly. Outside, Li Ba and Bai Ren watched stealthily. He whispered, "Well?" The other replied softly, "Dead asleep." Hearing this, Bai Ren's face twisted with contempt. "Ha ha, what a naive idiot. Buying dozens of slaves just to free them. A classic rich fool." Li Ba sneered. "The West City sisters? Just a pair of clueless flowers." He then asked his partner, "What's the plan?" The other laid it out. "Knock her out. Tie her up." After a pause, Bai Ren added, "We also need to find out where the weapons and supplies are." Suddenly, his expression turned sinister. And after we're done asking, they exchanged a knowing look, then burst into vile, wicked laughter. "Ha ha 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 ha." At the same time, Luo Jin and Kana stood protectively before Rui La and Alina. His voice was stern. "What do you think you're doing?" Zhang Gu put on a fake smile. "Brother Luo Jin, we wouldn't dare oppose you. We just want to repay our master by teaching her a life lesson." He couldn't believe they would treat their benefactor like this. "You enjoy repaying kindness with evil?" The other man shot back instantly. "How could you say that? We're repaying a debt, aren't we?" Zhang Gu clapped Mo Hui on the shoulder, who trembled in fear. Yes. That's right." Luo Jin frowned, then sighed. "Whatever you're planning, leave those who wish to follow you out of it." Zhang Gu just chuckled. Of course. We'll honor Big Brother Luo Jin's request." He smirked, his soft voice laced with a hidden threat. "In return, please keep your people from getting in our way." But his thoughts were different. "After we get the weapons, we can do whatever we please." Lost in his own triumphant scheme, Zhang Gu gloated. Soon, this world would be theirs. His accomplices had already made their move. As the sisters slept, Wang Zhuo crept toward Jia Mei, weapon drawn. Nearby, Li Ba gripped his club, preparing to strike Jia Wen. Without a moment's hesitation, Li Ba brought the club down. The speed was blinding. It seemed Jia Wen was finished. The club smashed into the bed with a deafening crack. Li Ba and Bai Ren couldn't stop themselves from grinning victoriously. A perfect hit. But something felt wrong. His hand tightened instinctively. Veins bulged on Li San's furious face. The feeling was off. The body of Jia Wen flickered like a hologram, a piece of corrupted data. He screamed in terror, stumbling backward. The projection of Jia Wen slowly reformed, completely unscathed. Only then did Li San realize it was a trap. He spun to warn the others. Something's wrong, get out now. But a brilliant flash of light silenced his words. He stared at the gushing wound. Then, a woman's voice echoed from the shadows. Her tone was dripping with disdain. Too slow. Li San's body collapsed. She spoke again. Even taking out the trash takes you forever. Jia Wen sat with her legs crossed, watching the show. Every word was a taunt. I was about to actually fall asleep. With Jia Mei, things were going just as smoothly. Heyman was huge, but no match for her. Jia Mei easily blocked his attack with one hand. Heyman strained, but couldn't move her an inch. She opened her eyes and sneered. Can't you people be a bit more decisive? Outside, moonlight bathed the silent night. Suddenly, a voice shattered the peace. Too slow. The speaker was losing patience, tapping a rhythm on their arm. Jianggu grew more impatient. Why aren't they back yet? Luo Jin laughed at his anxious display. He openly mocked their so-called brilliant plan. It seems your people are all bark and no bite. Already on edge, the man snapped. Luo Jin, watch your mouth. Before he could finish, Jianggu met his swift end. He collapsed to the ground, shocking everyone. Mo Hui screamed. Then, someone chuckled softly, their next words utterly ruthless. 20-something slaves, a dozen traitors, all guts but no brains. After a long look, she made her judgment, barely acceptable. The two sisters appeared in the hall, completely unharmed by the ambush. Jia Wen scornfully aimed her gun at the rebels. At least a few of you are still useful. Then, Jia Mei tossed down a handful of badges, displaying the battle's results. Fei Shui stared, mouth agape in utter shock. The badges bore different crests, hinting at some hidden power. He couldn't be sure of his guess. The squad insignias on the cloaks declared the battle's outcome. Luo Jin wasn't a fool. He understood at a single glance. Looks like the winner has been decided. Jia Wen smirked, the clear master of this game, ready to end things for good. She snapped her fingers. All right, everyone. Her gun aimed at Heyman's crew, weapon ready. A new hunt had just begun. It's time for the game's penalty round. The words were a death sentence. Everyone scattered and ran. Why? Mo Hui panted, sweating. But she kept glancing over her shoulder. The sight made Mo Hui panic, her legs pumping even faster. How did it come to this? In stark contrast to their terror, Jia Wen strolled down the hall to some unheard melody. Run along now, little girls. You'd better run. She casually cocked her gun. To Jia Wen, this was just a simple game, and she hummed, enjoying every second. If you don't run, the big bad wolf will get you. She smiled sweetly, but her words sent chills down their spines. Lao Niu hid, waiting. Club raised. He waited for his moment, then roared. Attack now. Lunging like a rabid dog, he screamed, Go meet your ancestors. The surprise attack swung toward Jia Wen before she could react. But something was wrong. Lao Niu's face twisted with frustration. An invisible shield had protected Jia Wen's body. She shot him a bored, disgusted look. Did you forget about defensive field equipment? As she spoke, Jia Wen pressed the gun to his forehead. A gunshot echoed through the halls. Another brainless fool gone. This hunt was clearly hers to win. Jia Wen sighed. She truly didn't understand what they were thinking. I gave them no weapons or armor, and they still tried to rebel. Are these people insane? Even stupidity has its limits. The people on Jia Wen's side watched her in utter silence. Not a single person dared to utter a word. Luo Jin suddenly spoke up. Isn't this going too far? Jia Wen paused, giving him a confused look. She found his words laughable. Too far? If I hadn't seen this coming, I'd be the one on the floor. If they repay kindness with betrayal, they can't complain about the price. In an instant, her gaze turned razor sharp. People must take responsibility for their choices. Isn't that right, Luo Jin? We're partners now. You need to understand how I operate. Luo Jin was left speechless. Jia Wen then turned toward the fleeing cowards. She delivered her final judgment, repay grievance with justice. In the darkness, a single gunshot rang out, crystal clear. One slave fell, eyes wide with shock. Another's head simply vanished. Mo Hui and the others running ahead turned back in horror. Another crack, and one more person fell. She was horrified. Jia Wen had been far away just seconds ago. Now, she was right behind them. Pale moonlight illuminated the scene. Drops of red splattered on the ground. Mo Hui and the last survivor ran until they collapsed, gasping for air. She gasped, wiping sweat from her brow. We made it out. She turned to her partner, ready to plan their next move. But what now? A single glance sent her world spiraling. A massive creature had her partner, and was devouring him bite by gruesome bite. Mo Hui's eyes widened in terror at the man's screams. "Help me!" With his last ounce of strength, he reached for her. "Save me, please! I don't want to die!" But as she stumbled back in fear, her back hit something solid. A mutated monster? A wave of dread washed over her. Trembling, she glanced back. A giant corpse-eater was waiting right there. Mo Hui couldn't stop shaking. The monster opened its massive maw, its gruesome fangs aimed right at her. Oh God! The sound of tearing flesh mixed with a hopeless scream. The slaves above watched, frozen in absolute terror. Hey! Hey! Everyone's face was pale with horror. Luo Jin broke into a cold sweat, staring down intently. That was the monster that devoured two people. Its stomach now swollen. It's a corpse-eater. Its eyes glowed like two fireballs. Luo Jin's lips quivered, unable to believe it. So many of them, this close. Jia Wen seemed amused, enjoying everyone's terrified expressions. The monster below turned and left. Fei Shui watched it go, uncertain. Chao Gui, from behind, quickly called out, "Hey, wait." A sudden thought struck him. If they had chosen to leave earlier, they'd have to pass through those monsters. Kana was stunned, her eyes wide. What? The others suddenly realized the gravity of the situation. "No way," Alina whispered, unsure. Just as the tension peaked, Jia Wen let out a hearty laugh. "Relax, relax. The mutated monsters to the west have a basic understanding with the people here. If you just leave quietly in the morning, you'll be safe." Luo Jin eyed Jia Wen with suspicion. "Really? So it's just a coincidence that monsters ambush and eat the traitors you kick out?" Jia Wen grinned. What else could it be? Her gaze suddenly turned dark and gloomy. "Are you suggesting I can control those monsters?" With that, Jia Wen turned away, leaving them with a warning. There's a limit to daydreaming. Chao Gui watched her go, annoyed, then turned away. Luo Jin was also uneasy, but the strategy of killing a chicken to scare the monkeys was effective. Jia Wen paused in her tracks. "Oh, right." She turned back with a playful wink. "I look forward to working with you all." Below, the first rays of sunlight touched the distant monster. Jia Wen's voice rang out formally, "Welcome to my combat division." In a peaceful field of green vegetables, a brilliant white light suddenly appeared in midair. A foot stepped out, followed by another. It was Song Chao, just returned. He carried a box on his shoulder and took a deep, relaxing breath. It's good to be home. Then, a problem occurred to him, but dressed like this, appearing in the backyard. It's going to be a hassle. He rubbed his chin thoughtfully. I need a better way to hide this. I'll change first. Moments later, talk of a new medicine filled the house. An old man on a chair stared at Song Chao, surprised. You mean this cures tuberculosis? This was his father, Song Wengxian. Is it safe? Song Chao looked a bit guilty. It's a new drug from my company, already tested on animals, so I asked for a few doses. I have to send them the data later. The vial in his hand glowed with a faint green light. If this works, our family will be well off. Song Wenxian was speechless. Are you using your old man as a guinea pig? Song Chao laughed at his father's concern. Of course not. This stuff is expensive. We couldn't get it otherwise. He then injected the medicine into his father's arm, hoping to cure his tuberculosis. Song Wenxian flexed his fingers. Song Chao, his father said seriously as he was about to leave, leaning back in his chair. Listen closely. I won't get in your way, but remember this. Don't lose your conscience. Song Chao gave his father a small smile. He casually reassured him. Don't worry, Dad. I'm heading out to work now. In a bustling commercial district, inside Zhou Antiques, a deal was taking place. Shining gold bars were laid out neatly in a box. This is? Fu Yuan couldn't believe his eyes. Gold bars. Song Chao ignored the shopkeeper's shocked expression. He gestured impatiently. 6 bars in total. Boss Joe, give me a price. Fu Yuan reached out and picked one up. A quick look startled him. Something unusual about the gold made Fu Yuan pause. He casually turned to ask Song Chao a question. Young man, have these gold bars been processed at all? The question surprised Song Chao. He scratched his head, confused. No, I brought them straight here. Fu Yuan's expression was thoughtful. Is that so? He calculated silently. The bars had no serial numbers, but the kid didn't seem to be lying. Fu Yuan decisively closed the box. All right, I'll take them all. He calmly named his price. But this time, I can only offer 250 yuan per gram. Song Chao was floored. Why? Fu Yuan's face remained impassive as he made up an excuse. Golden artworks are easier to move. These bars are a tough sell. I'll need to use some special channels. Song Chao listened, dazed. Just consider it my fee for helping you. Defeated, he finally accepted Fu Yuan's ridiculously low price. He sighed, looking at the deposit in his account. I didn't expect gold bars to be this hard to sell. It's still pure profit. But next time, I'll sell artwork. Suddenly, Song Chao remembered something. Oh, right. He quickly turned to Fu Yuan. Boss Joe, do you know where I can buy a car? Fu Yuan was puzzled. A car? He thought for a moment. There aren't many options in this small county. If Mr. Song wants a car, I can recommend a place. Fu Yuan handed Song Chao a business card for a dealership in a large mall. You can go check it out. As soon as Song Chao left, he quickly texted an acquaintance. Any recent thefts from gold vaults or art shops? The reply came back, confused. How could there be? Boss Joe, what are you thinking? Fu Yuan felt he had been too abrupt. You're right. Sorry. That was a strange thing to ask. He felt a headache coming on, rubbing his temples. No theft cases, and no origin for the gold. No serial numbers. Was it privately smelted? But the markings and oxidation. It definitely wasn't made recently. A moment later, Fu Yuan collapsed into his chair, exhausted. This kid, Song Chao, what a puzzle. He vaguely reconsidered the deal. The glittering antiques on the wall only confused him more. Should I do business with him next time? Song Chao arrived at the dealership Fu Yuan recommended. Hello. He could feel the place was both luxurious and professional. I'd like to buy a car. A salesperson greeted Song Chao with a smile. Of course, please follow me. I'll show you our models. She led him on a tour, introducing herself. I'm Chen Jia, the sales director. A pleasure, Mr. Song. The showroom was filled with cars of every color. Song Chao's eyes widened with every step. Chen Jia warmly explained, We have the best selection around, perfect for the local driving conditions. Their main products were rugged, off-road vehicles with great designs. What's your price range? Song Chao thought for a moment. Okay, let's start with a budget of 1 million. Hearing this, Chen Jia gasped. What? Song Chao saw her stunned face and asked, Something wrong? Chen Jia quickly covered her mouth. Oh, no. She cleared her throat, regaining her professional composure. Thrilled to land a major client, Chen Jia asked, Do you have a specific model in mind? Song Chao scanned the vehicles on display. Let me take a look. Suddenly his phone rang. He gave Chen Jia an apologetic smile. Excuse me, one moment. He quickly answered, Hello? A strange girl's voice came from the other end. Am I speaking with Mr. Song Chao? He wondered who it could be. Yes, may I ask who is calling? The girl quickly replied, We're Zhao Li and Zhang Xiulan, Shuzu's best friends. Shuzu told us not to get involved, but we talked it over and felt you had to know. Whatever she said next sent a jolt of pure panic through Song Chao. What? His voice was laced with dread. Okay, I get it. Thank you. He immediately hung up the call. Thinking he was finished, Chen Jia started, Sir. But Song Chao cut her off. Manager. She quickly replied, Yes, sir? He pointed toward the cars. Do you have any cars gassed up and ready to go right now? He instantly chose a vehicle. He jumped in and peeled out of the dealership, pushing the car to its absolute limit on the road. Song Chao's hands trembled uncontrollably on the steering wheel. This is bad. He gritted his teeth, his face taut with tension as he stared down the road. That foolish girl, Shu. His voice dropped, needing to confirm. Wait, Zhao Li, can you tell me exactly what happened? Her expression didn't sound good. Actually, a rich young master from her university has been pursuing Zhu recently, but he has a bad reputation, so Shuzu turned him down. Then Shulan jumped in, her voice rushed. So today, he invited Shusu to a club to meet his friend. The pay was good, so she went. She also specifically told us not to tell her family. Worry dripped from her every word. We just have a really bad feeling. Song Chao understood immediately, cursing as the new car stopped at a red light. Zhao Li, do you know where they went? A moment later, his car roared down an empty street, fueled by her answer. If I remember correctly. Finally, Song Chao burst out of the car, his face a mask of pure fury. Zhao Li's words echoed in his mind as he stared at the building ahead. It's the Heaven on Earth karaoke bar in the district. A staff member called out instantly, Welcome, but seeing his frantic look, her face paled. Sir, hello, but he had already stormed past, ignoring her desperate calls. Sir, Her panicked voice echoed down the hall. Please wait a moment. You can't just barge in there. Sir, you're making this very difficult for us. Song Chao's sharp eyes scanned the hallway, searching desperately. He saw room number 888. This must be the place. Without a second of hesitation, he kicked the door clean off its hinges. Song Wengxiu looked up to see a scene she never should have. She gasped in utter shock. Brother! Her eyes widened in disbelief. Big brother! The hands that carried his family's weight trembled with white-hot rage. Song Wengxiu, answer me now. A hellfire ignited within him, ready to burn it all down. What the hell is going on here? Yet, no one in the room took him seriously. Huh? Fu An finally reacted to the intrusion. And who the hell are you? Song Wengxiu answered him. Brother, why are you here? That word piqued his interest. Oh, so you're the brother-in-law. Fu. An smirked at Song Chao's furious expression. Your timing is perfect. He then gave a smug, thuggish order. Just stand there and watch how we teach your little sister a lesson. He sneered, emphasizing the words, ah, brother-in-law. He motioned for his goons to approach. This sent Wengxiu into a panic. Brother, run, go call the police. Old Huang cracked his knuckles with a sneer. You're not going anywhere. Just stay put. But before he could utter another word, a fist fueled by pure rage slammed into his jaw. A single, devastating blow was all it took to make him toothless Old Huang. This raw, brutal strength stunned both Fu An and Song Wengxiu. Seeing his friend go down, a thug named Baldy charged forward. How dare you? But in Song Chao's eyes, the attack moved in slow motion. Too slow. He had to wonder, are these guys even trying? He drove a fist straight into Baldy's gut. The man was completely open. Another vicious knee sent Old Yan flying. Could this be the power of the gene enhancement drug? Fu An's men fell like dominoes. Song Chao spoke again, his voice ice cold. My apologies. The flames of his hatred burned brighter than ever. His rage was almost a physical presence as he growled. What did you just say? I didn't hear you clearly. A short while later, a new voice finally broke the silence. Staring at the sunset over the town, Wengxiu let out a shaky breath. Ah. She was in a total daze. Her mind couldn't process the intense chaos that had just ended. We're outside. Finally, she spoke softly. Comrade Song Chao. He replied gently. What is it? Comrade Song Wengxiu hesitated, replaying the image of a broken Fu An at her brother's hands. When did you get so good at fighting? You took down like 6 or 7 guys. Did you drop out of school to learn this? But Song Chao had a headache of his own, recalling her odd composure. You're the one who pulled out a recording pen. I almost thought you were working with those idiots to set me up. Speaking of which, why did you have a recording pen? Wengxiu flushed, explaining quickly. Well, you know, a girl has to protect herself. He shot back instantly. If you were that scared, you never should have agreed to go. She tensed up at his sharp question. You weren't actually planning to pull a honey trap, were you? Hearing that, Wengxiu tried to deny it. I had no intention of that. This just made Song Chao angrier. Hey, look me in the eye when you say that. Knowing she couldn't fool him, she finally confessed. Actually, I agreed to meet him, because I was planning on getting involved with him. Her words horrified him. What? Wengxiu's eyes grew distant as she explained. The family is short on money, and I'm at that age now. She forced a heartbreakingly mature smile. Look, I'm pretty, so it's not like it would be a total loss for me, right? Her next words made Song Chao's blood run cold. Model. And that way, you wouldn't have to struggle so much. You could go back to college and finish your degree. Wenshu's words left him in stunned silence. His brain lagged for a second, then his face went pale. As the reality of the situation hit him, he realized something horrifying. If that guy's true colors hadn't been revealed, would he have become my brother-in-law? She replied hesitantly, yes. A cold sweat broke out on Tong Chao's face, his expression unreadable. Was this a classic case of snatching defeat from the jaws of victory? Suddenly, Wenshu's voice cut through his thoughts. But now, everything is definitely ruined. Will this really stop them from coming after us? He rubbed his head, having zero faith in the recording pen. That little thing alone wasn't a guarantee. She quickly followed him. So what do we do now? He just answered calmly. Come with me. I'll show you something. A moment later, Tong Chao's voice echoed through the spacious underground garage. To avoid revenge, you need 2 things, strength and money. You've already seen my strength. My fists are pretty formidable now. He spun a believable story on the spot. Plus, I found a pretty good part-time job. The pay is great, and they even gave me this car. The vehicle before her eyes left, Wenshu completely shocked. This is a company car? Tong Chao continued to reassure her. Trust me. Just give me some time. and I'll give our family the best life possible." His tone grew more serious than ever, like he was making a sacred vow. "We won't have to rely on anyone. We'll overcome this on our own. We won't worry about money or fear being bullied by others." His eyes burned with unwavering resolve. "I will absolutely make it happen." Time passed at Tong Chao's home, with its fresh green garden. Someone cried out. It was Tong Chao, who announced with a frown, "I'll do it." But Wen Shu looked terrified. "It doesn't hurt." "It won't hurt, right?" He simply injected her arm before replying. "Not one bit," he said, making her scream. As she reeled from the pain, Tong Chao explained, "This is a drug to boost your immunity." Suddenly, Wen Shu made a connection and questioned him. "So you gave this shot to Dad too?" His confused voice replied, "Yes. Why?" she asked, her voice a mix of curiosity and anxiety. "Is there a problem with this new immunity-boosting drug?" This puzzled him. "Huh?" So she tried to explain more clearly. "Your company makes medicine, right? If we're getting company benefits, it's understandable we're being used as guinea pigs. But what if something happens?" Tong Chao understood and clarified. "Think of it as a clinical trial. Don't worry. My own test went fine. I only gave it to you and Dad after I knew it was safe." That information hit Wen Shu like a bolt of lightning. "What?" she gasped, needing to confirm. "Wait, you've used it already?" He affirmed it bluntly. "Yeah, it's actually pretty high-tech stuff." He then gave his sister a vague explanation based on what he knew, saying there just weren't enough volunteers yet, so production couldn't increase. Without enough data, it couldn't be released to the market. Blurring fact and fiction, he brought up Jia Wen to make his story more credible. "I'm also acquainted with the company's owner. She's a trustworthy person, a brigade. Not only does she pay me well, she even gave me a company car." Tong Chao slowly explained. "Honestly, I was worried just like you at first. I wanted to refuse." But hearing this only made Wen Shu more anxious. He sighed deeply, looking lost in thought. But the benefits she offered, they were just too good. She could only say what was necessary. "You should still be careful," but he seemed lost in his own painful reality. "Who asked us to be so poor and unambitious?" Tong Chao's phone buzzed, catching Wen Shu's attention. "Who's that from?" Miao Qing. He glanced at the screen and said, "It's my old classmates' group chat." It was clearly an invitation to a party from him. "Hello everyone. Long time no see. I've prepared a reunion party and would like to invite you all. Let's catch up over a meal." The message implied attendance was mandatory. After reading it, Tong Chao commented, "An old friend, but not a very good person." At the same time, in a high-end office, someone else received the same message. "A reunion? You've got to be kidding. Who has the time for that during such a busy period?" But then, an idea struck Yue Zhu. Wait a minute." She stroked her chin, considering it. "It might be worth going. Maybe I can find some talent to solve an urgent problem." The next evening, Tong Chao sat in his new company car and sighed. I still ended up coming." His mind flashed back to when Wen Shu heard about the reunion. She had been thrilled, urging him, "It's your old classmates? Go, you have to go." But he had shown little interest. I pass." Her surprise was obvious. Tong Chao then slowly explained, "My job is the most important thing right now. I don't have time for these games." Suddenly, Wen Shu's tone turned serious. "Comrade Tong Chao, your vision is too narrow." Her declaration immediately got his full attention. "I remember many of your friends studied medicine and pharmacology, right?" Wen Shu presented her case maturely. "Your company is also in pharmaceuticals. Isn't this the perfect time to go network, expand my connections?" The memory gave Tong Chao a headache. It's not like he could tell her the truth. This is a gene-enhancing drug. Finally, he decided to get out of the car. "All right, fine," he muttered indifferently. "She has a point, more or less." He walked on, trying to console himself. "Let's see if any classmates can provide a sales channel. If not, I'll just grab a few bites and leave." Unexpectedly, Yue Zhu happened to spot Tong Chao. Her driver immediately spoke up. "Miss Meng, is something wrong?" She answered calmly, "It's nothing." As she walked away, she added, "I'll call you when I'm ready to leave." He replied instantly, "Understood. I'll wait for you here." Although Tong Chao and Yue Zhu had different motives, neither seemed to have high hopes for the party. Both sighed and muttered the same thought. "I hope this isn't a waste of time." Inside the lavishly decorated banquet hall, Miao Qing was putting on an air of a nouveau riche. "Long time no see. Welcome, welcome. Please come in." Then he pretended to be overjoyed. Well, if it isn't Tong Chao." He immediately started with a jab. "Still looking as poor as ever, huh?" But Tong Chao retorted just as sharply. "And you're still just as short." That single sentence was enough to infuriate Miao Qing. "What did you say?" Just then, someone else arrived. Hey, Tong Chao, you made it. Ignoring Miao Qing, he turned to his friend. Oh, long time no see. His friend then pulled him along. Come on, come on. You skip every reunion, so you owe us 3 drinks as a penalty. This startled him. Hey, I drove here tonight. Miao Qing was left behind, fuming with anger. Just a poor loser putting on a show. But someone's arrival then caught his attention. It was Yue Zhu, who approached with a graceful air. Long time no see. He immediately rushed to greet her. Ah, Meng Yue Zhu, welcome. But she cut right to the chase. Was that Song Chao just now? Contempt dripped from Miao Qing's voice. Just a poor guy putting on a show. I bet he's jobless. Yue Zhu was completely uninterested. Slandering a classmate is not a good look. He flinched and quickly backtracked. Ah, you're right. I'll watch my words. Suddenly, a voice cut in. Yue Zhu! She instantly recognized Xiao Shan. Xiao Shan immediately pulled her along. Come over here, everyone misses you. Yue Zhu offered a polite smile. Sorry, I've just been so busy. But Miao Qing was already plotting behind her back. Meng Yue Zhu, daughter of the chairman of a major tech corporation. The Meng family's company was new. He sized her up. Beautiful, but with an icy personality. Not just academically gifted, but a second-generation heiress. Miao Qing's arrogance knew no bounds. He felt everything was within his grasp. He'd use this reunion to get his hands on her and live in luxury for years. Meanwhile, Yue Zhu calmly sipped her wine. Then she brought up what was on her mind. Do you know how Song Chao's been lately? Xiao Shan answered immediately. Song Chao? I heard his family's poor. He couldn't afford the tuition, so he had to drop out. Someone nearby smirked. What's this? The corporate princess interested in a poor boy? She immediately denied it. Of course not. But she mulled it over. Strange. The car he was driving seemed quite expensive. An awkward silence fell. Yue Zhu let out a soft sigh. Well, it's not my business. I need to scout for potential talent first. Xiao Shan brought over some cake, listing off options. How about someone with experience in a major bio-research project? Or maybe, one of the guys aiming for a career in research? Minan quickly waved it off. No way. Research is impossible. There are no internships anymore. A guy in a blue suit chimed in. I could ask my professor for you. While they chattered away, Yue Zhu seemed distant and lost in thought. She drifted through the room, not touching any food. She sighed, heading for the balcony and wondering, am I asking for too much? Staring at her own reflection, her thoughts continued. Realistically, they're not even 4th years yet. They haven't even written a thesis, let alone handle an actual research project. Her eyes glazed over. She needed someone who could help them navigate the coming crisis. Was I being too naive? She turned to go back inside, planning to grab a bite and leave. But as she approached the main room, a loud voice stopped her. Song Chao, let's do a round. Song Chao politely refused. I can't, I drove. But Miao Qing shamelessly shoved a beer at him. Don't be so lame. Relax. No one's gonna laugh if you get drunk. He then shot a sly grin in one direction, noticing her walking toward them. He chuckled triumphantly. Meng Yue Zhu is looking over here. A plan was forming in Miao Qing's mind. Song Chao may be poor, but he was popular in their class. If I beat him, Meng Yue Zhu will see how cool I am. With that thought, Miao Qing yelled, Bring it on! Song Chao asked, exasperated, Are you even listening to me? Suddenly, Minan appeared, patting his shoulder. Hey, isn't this great? He whispered back urgently, Hey, don't start anything. But Minan was unfazed. It's fine. I'll give you a ride home. I'm allergic to alcohol anyway. Cornered, Song Chao scratched his head with a sigh. Finally, he gave in to the crowd. All right, fine. He held up his glass to his opponent. Cheers. Let's have a drink. Seeing his prey fall into the trap, Miao Qing smirked. Heh, I already took a sobriety pill. I'll drink you into the ground. Your pathetic display will only make me look better. And so, they drank glass after glass. Each one a toast to his own glorious future. Another toast to the image he was building. They went at it hard. Until Miao Qing couldn't hold it anymore, stumbling away to throw up. Minan and the others were stunned. He turned to Song Chao, impressed. Dude, Song Chao, I had no idea you could drink so well. Song Chao just shook his head humbly. You just get used to it from working odd jobs. But inwardly, he was stunned. I don't feel even a little bit drunk. Is this another effect of the gene reagent? Meanwhile, Miao Qing stumbled back, his face red with rage. It's not fair, he finally screamed. He furiously pointed a finger at Song Chao. Why does everyone like you, when they all hate me? It took a few seconds for his words to register. Song Chao pointed to himself, confused by the sudden hostility. He decided to ask Miao Qing directly. I don't think I've ever done anything to you. Miao Qing shot back irrationally. It's that arrogant attitude of yours. He was getting more worked up. He looked ready to throw a punch. You're just a poor loser. You should be bowing down to me. Seeing things escalate, Mi Nan and another friend rushed to intervene. Miao, just drop it, man. All right, come on. Let's get you to the bathroom. Afraid he wouldn't stop, his friend added a quiet warning. Song Chao, you should probably step away. Dazed, Song Chao quickly agreed. Oh, right. The commotion caught Yue Zhu's attention, and she turned to watch. Xiao Shan rushed over to her side. What's going on with those guys? Yue Zhu didn't understand either, so she changed the topic. So? Did you find any promising candidates? Yue Zhu answered honestly. To be honest, none of them have any real project experience. They can't help. Hearing this, her friend just offered a comforting hum. Besides, you're not even close to graduating. Yue Zhu admitted sheepishly. I know, I'm just rushing things. Just then, a phone began to vibrate. Yue Zhu's eyes lit up as she looked at her phone. It was her father. But I already told him I was at the class reunion today. Did something happen? Worried it was an emergency, she turned to Xiao Shan. Excuse me, I need to take this outside. Finding a corner, Yue Zhu answered her phone. Hello? Dad, it's me. What's wrong? The voice on the other end was grim. Find a quiet place. I need to talk to you. Yue Zhu slipped into the women's restroom. Okay, I'm alone. What is it, Dad? Her father's voice was soft. Yue Zhu, I need you to listen calmly. He got straight to the point. The company was dropping the research project she was in charge of. The news struck her like lightning, leaving her stunned and speechless. The voice on the phone said the board decided to cancel her research project. Hearing this, Yue Zhu felt herself go numb, her eyes wide with total disbelief. Fearing her father would hear her weakness, she took a deep, steadying breath to compose herself, then calmly asked, What happened? Her father quickly explained, It's exactly as you heard. The corporation's capital flow is at risk. We can't invest any more funds at this time. Not into your lab, anyway. The lab hasn't produced any results, which has caused a lot of strong objections from many people. I can no longer suppress the opinions of the others on the board. As her father finished speaking, tears began to well up in her eyes. She could barely manage a single word. Oh. After a pause, she asked, Do you remember when we analyzed the corporation? That only through research and development could we move forward. Her father replied softly, I remember. She continued her argument. The current market situation. None of our products or production lines have a competitive edge. The other end of the line replied curtly, I know. Seeing this, she spoke with more urgency. Only by investing huge amounts of capital can we leave the second and third tier cities and compete in the first tier market in the future. His voice remained soft, I'm aware. She insisted, If we don't take this gamble, we won't get another chance. But his response remained firm, I understand. This time, Yue Zhu's voice rose with emotion. So, before she could finish, her father clarified, I understand everything you're saying. Her father stood calmly by the window. Looking down from high above at the buildings opposite, he patiently explained, But this time, we have no choice but to surrender. The truth is, we're powerless. We don't have the ability to invest anymore. Before we can talk about ideals, we first have to make sure our people are fed. I'm sorry. Hearing this, her world completely fell apart. Yue Zhu bit her lip, fighting back tears as she pleaded, Dad, just give me 3 more months. Her body trembled, but she begged persistently, Help me extend it for just 3 more months. The gene repair drug trial is in 1 month. I swear I will give the board and you an answer. Her father was silent. Only silence answered Yue Zhu. After the unpleasant call, she stumbled out like a ghost. As she walked, she thought, It's clear, I did my best. Just as Yue Zhu left, a noise came from the men's restroom. A young man was hiding inside, rubbing his head and looking flustered. It turned out to be Song Chao, wrestling with his conscience. Careless. I think I heard something I shouldn't have. A gene drug. Hiding in the restroom, Song Chao wondered to himself. A gene drug? He leaned on the sink, thinking. Speaking of which, Meng Yue Zhu's family corporation is in the pharmaceutical industry. He looked at his reflection in the mirror. He continued his train of thought. And based on what I heard, she's stressed about a gene project. After checking his face, he made a decision. Maybe I could try selling Dr. Su's medicine to her and see how it goes. With that thought, he immediately entered the party area as soon as he arrived. Song Chao was startled by a loud shout. Just have a little, that's enough. Curious, he turned to look at the two girls in front of him with a puzzled expression. What's wrong? It turned out Miao Qing was up front, drunk and causing a scene. Come on, Meng Yuezhu, drink this glass. Yuezhu flatly refused. No. I have to go back to the company later. As she was speaking, the man interrupted by shoving a glass at her. Cut the nonsense, drink this. He didn't care how much he had startled her, and continued. Or what? He paused for a moment. He stressed with a scary look on his face. Young miss, are you looking down on my drink? Seeing the man in front of her cross the line, Yuezhu became annoyed. She was about to pass her limit of patience. Just then, Xiaoshan angrily scolded the man for her. Hey, show some respect, you drunk. Minan also had to step in. Miao Qing, you should shut up now. In the chaos, she cursed inwardly in frustration. Ugh, seriously, why am I wasting my time dealing with this drunk? Even though so many people tried to intervene, he remained shameless, continuing to pressure her excessively. Everyone, get out of my way. I want her to drink my alcohol. At this point, Yuezhu had passed her limit. She clenched her fists, her face flushed with anger as she thought, I've had enough. Just as she was about to unleash her fury, a hand suddenly landed on her shoulder. When she turned around, she recognized a familiar face and greeted him, class president. Song Chao smiled and got straight to the point. I heard you're interested in products related to genetics. His hand remained on her shoulder as he continued his offer. Could you spare a moment to talk with me? About gene products? As soon as Song Chao finished speaking, Meng Yuezhu turned back to look at him in surprise. Seeing he had her attention, he continued. So, about your corporation's gene product research and development project. I was hoping to talk to you, class president. Yuezhu, a bit surprised, turned to Xiaoshan. Xiaoshan, I have something to discuss with Song Chao. You guys continue. I'll be leaving first. Before she could react. Huh? She didn't explain further. I'll call you later. Xiaoshan was confused. Wait, Yuezhu. She just hummed in response. She helplessly reached her hand out towards the departing Yuezhu. Behind her, Miao Qing was being held back, his face bright red as he cursed. Damn it, Song Chao, that wretched poor bastard. Song Chao and Yuezhu walked away, chatting. Unable to break free from Minan's grip, he became even more enraged. He dared to steal my chance to perform in front of Meng Yuezhu. Miao Qing gritted his teeth, his eyes red with anger. I will not let you get away with this. In the deserted parking lot, with no one around, Song Chao and Yuezhu walked quietly without saying a word. Yuezhu let out a sigh and spoke first. Thanks. Then she added cheerfully, You stood up to help me, right? Without waiting for his answer, she continued, a bit shyly. You should go back and have fun. I'm leaving now. At this moment, Song Chao finally came to his senses. Huh? No, I really have something to discuss with you. Yuezhu was surprised. What? Song Chao awkwardly explained to her. Actually, I'm working for a friend's company now. They are researching gene medicine and already have a sample. I'm sorry. I accidentally overheard your call earlier, so I wanted to ask, class president, if you are interested in seeing the sample, for a partnership. Before he could finish his sentence, he realized Yuezhu was trembling with fury. What did you say? 3 words flashed across Song Chao's face. I am so dead. Yuezhu's voice grew cold. Song Chao, I appreciate you helping me. I was even going to ignore you eavesdropping on our company's secrets. But she crossed her arms, her gaze burning into him. Can you please not belittle other people's work? Her voice echoed in the parking garage. I am grateful for your help, she demanded, but please, don't you dare disrespect biological research. She glared, arms crossed, at the stunned man before her. He snapped out of his daze. Song Chao stammered. Wait, that's not what I meant. But Yuezhu cut him off with another question. Do you know what gene research entails? Without waiting for an answer, she went on. It requires labs worth tens of millions, even billions of dollars. The world's top scientists form teams, dedicating their lives day and night, pouring countless hours of effort into their work, only to prove an entire line of research was wrong. As Yuezhu spoke, he could picture the dedicated scientists at work. An image of an empty lab fueled her anger. Hundreds of millions are invested every year with no guarantee of results. She then imagined 2 senior scientists arguing intensely before a board filled with complex formulas. This only made her angrier at Song Chao. And you're telling me some private lab created a gene product and wants to partner with me? Fire blazed in her eyes as Yuezhu seethed. There's a limit to your arrogance. Suddenly, she let out a startled cry. Ah! Clearing her throat, Yuezhu regained her composure. My apologies. I temporarily lost control of my emotions. She quickly stepped away. So, that's that. Yuezhu walked past a pale Song Chao. Thank you for the offer. If I'm interested, I'll contact you. He spun around desperately. No, wait. He reached for her, but it was too late. The car door slammed shut as Yuezhu ordered the driver to leave. The driver replied instantly. Yes, ma'am. The car sped away, leaving a stunned Song Chao standing there. Hey, he could only watch it go. She's gone. He scratched his head, completely confused. Why did she suddenly blow up like that? Did I say something wrong? She didn't leave a number or a business card. How could she contact him later? Song Chao was still reeling from the encounter. Clearly, she didn't believe a word he said. But the thing is, it's real, he insisted. Meanwhile, Yuezhu sighed with frustration in her car. The next day, in a luxurious building, a friendly conversation began in a warmly lit hall. I never expected you to seek me out for something like this. Well, I happen to know Boss Chu is very well connected. At the praise, Fu Yuan let out a hearty laugh. Haha. He flipped a switch and replied warmly. You certainly know what to say, Mr. Song. The lights flashed on, revealing a spacious, well-stocked grocery store. He reassured him. Don't worry, we're friends. I should help you, right? Fu Yuan noticed Song Chao's jaw was hanging open in shock. The aisles were neatly arranged, shelves packed with countless essentials, and there was even a vending machine. He announced proudly, Old supermarket, reasonable price. The place is huge, with plenty of usable things left over. His eyes gleamed with pride. Plus, there are lots of suppliers in the nearby towns. So, does it suit your needs? He asked Song Chao, who was beaming. Seeing his obvious satisfaction, Fu Yuan named his price. If you have any issues, I'll handle it for 500,000 yuan. I'll even introduce you to suppliers. Song Chao was already hugging a freezer. Really? That's a steal. He chuckled, raising a finger. Haha, I want you selling gold through me. So why would I cheat you? However, Fu Yuan did have one condition. But you have to remember, any gold or silver you find gets sold through me. Song Chao quickly turned. No problem. The easy deal made him grin. Aha. Seeing the quick agreement, he said, All right, I'll go get the contract. Fu Yuan turned but kept his eye on the young man admiring the store. He didn't seem like someone with a guilty conscience. He stroked his beard, satisfied, wondering to himself, where does he get his gold? How interesting. Alone, Song Chao continued exploring the vast market. Back in the old house, two voices cried out at once. A supermarket? Wen Xian and Wen Shu stared at Song Chao in confusion. He grinned. I'm opening a supermarket. Dad, you can help me manage it. My friend is very rich. I'm helping her with something, so she gave me some startup money. He continued rambling. There's not much else I can do to help. I can only run a business, get them some fresh meat and vegetables. It's a show of good faith. His father stroked his chin, thinking. After a moment, he sighed. All right. My body probably can't take many more years in the mines anyway. Okay. I'll help you watch the store. Hearing his father's words, Song Chao was overjoyed. He stood under the supermarket's warm lights, clenching his fist. Now Dad can quit that back-breaking mine work, and I have an excuse to stock up on food and supplies. It was time to prepare for the apocalypse. The supermarket was on a wide road, perfect for a large truck. Inside, Song's father finished cleaning a shelf with a sigh. Phew. The door swung open. Wen Shu came out struggling with a box of potatoes, calling out, Brother, the potatoes and cabbage are packed for you. He glanced at her as he loaded the truck. Thanks, just put it on the ground. She eyed the truck full of supplies, asking, Seriously, is giving her these things okay? That's your boss. He calmly reassured his sister. Don't worry, this fresh food is the best gift we can offer. He gave a loving smile. Carrying a box this heavy isn't tiring. Your stamina is amazing. The girl finally noticed the crate in her hands. Huh? This feels surprisingly light, but it's filled with so much stuff. The box hit the ground with a heavy thud. Wen Shu was stunned. Strange, I feel a lot stronger these past 2 days. Song Chao watched and smiled to himself. His father's complexion had also visibly improved. His body was recovering at a noticeable rate. The effects of the gene medicine were incredible, a true necessity for humanity in the apocalypse. His father and sister stood by the white car to see him off. He placed a hand on the car, sighing with emotion. Your company is amazing, giving you a high-end vehicle like this. Song Chao just smiled at his father. It's a company benefit. Pride gleamed in his father's eyes, but his voice was stern. If your friend treats you this well, you better work hard for him. Don't bring shame to our family, you hear? He replied helplessly. Yes, yes, don't worry. I have it all planned. The luxury car slowly rolled away. He carefully checked the rearview mirror. Humph. That should be far enough. His gaze fell to the supreme ring on his finger. A single twist now could take him back, but then a thought made him hesitate, a flicker of doubt. Truthfully, I've already earned enough money. Why risk my life in that hellish apocalypse? It wouldn't be a big deal if I just didn't go, right? Silence filled the car. No one answered his question. Song Chao couldn't help but laugh out loud. Ha ha ha, what am I thinking? Wouldn't that make me the kind of person I despise? He steeled his resolve, refusing to abandon his original path. I refuse to be the type who profits and then runs away. The gold ring on his hand began to spin. Shen Jiawen, I'm coming. A portal tore open above the car, pulling it in. The vehicle slowly lifted into the air and vanished. The spatial gate flared to life in the gloomy, apocalyptic sky. A corner of a dilapidated warehouse lit up. In the center of the dark concrete, a bright orb crackled with power. With a loud crash, Song Chao's car landed hard. The slanted floor sent the vehicle skidding forward at a terrifying speed. He clicked his tongue, yanking the wheel back and forth to maintain control. The tires screeched to a halt just inches from the wall, a near collision. Song Chao slumped over the steering wheel, drenched in sweat. Damn! Finally stopped. He rested his chin on his hand, pale. I can't believe I brought the whole car through. The warehouse was as bleak as the world outside, with only faint light from the sky. His voice echoed. A lot of unexpected things happened during the plan. The trunk popped open. He looked at the supplies inside with relief. But bringing the car is a massive help. He rummaged through the vehicle, completely unaware that he was being watched from above. Now, whether I'm coming or going, I can carry a lot more stuff. He'd been talking to himself for so long, he still hadn't noticed. Right above him, a mutated monster drooled, its long tongue hanging out. First, let's get the protective gear on. Then I'll meet up with Shen Jiawen's group. This place is nothing like the safe modern world. A drop of monstrous saliva landed on the mask in Song Chao's hand. I don't want to get ambushed by some random creature. He paled, staring at the mask in his hand, and let out a curse. He instantly drew his firearm. Damn it! At that moment, the monster lunged at Song Chao. Automatic fire roared to life, thankfully hitting the creature. Song Chao stared, frozen, as it lost momentum and fell. Looking at its mottled purple-green skin, he muttered, "Is it dead?" As he praised himself, something fell from above. Looks like I've got a talent for this, one shot and... He stared blankly at the metal bar and finished, blew it away. As the last word left his mouth, Song Chao's face went white. A buzzing sound accompanied an approaching figure. In the stranger's hand was a piece of combat-ready tech. You okay? Backlit by the dim light, the man's face was hard to see. Don't wander around here. It turned out to be Luo Jin. Huh, isn't that the head of logistics? What are you doing here? The surroundings were desolate and dark, without a single light, only Luo Jin's voice, echoing against the gray sky. All right, that's enough. Leave the rest of the supplies with the car for now. He strapped on his gear and led the way. Carrying too much will just slow us down. It's a 30-minute trip, and we have to avoid a lot of monsters on the way. The slower we are, the more danger we're in. Hearing this, Song Chao quietly adjusted his backpack. He hesitated, feeling reluctant to leave it all behind. Will the car be okay here? Luo Jin replied. Usually, those mutated creatures aren't interested in dead objects. If something does happen, we'll just have to abandon it. He then continued, I'll take you to the boss first. Then we'll get a team to come back for the rest. Song Chao still seemed a bit unwilling. Fine. He thought anxiously. I hope the car and the food will be safe. Luo Jin quickened his pace, leading the way. You know, this is my first time seeing an off-road vehicle. No weapons, no modified armor. Built for comfort. And you even brought back so many good supplies. As expected of someone our boss values. Hearing this, Song Chao asked, a little confused. Are you talking about me? The man replied casually. Who else? Song Chao thought helplessly. Head of logistics, my butt. This guy is definitely flattering me, thinking I'm an idiot. As they walked down a narrow path between two walls, Luo Jin spoke again. It's a good thing you're back now. In 2 more days, we would have had to move. Curious and uneasy, Song Chao asked. What happened? The man answered vaguely. I'm not sure of the specifics. But from what the bosses said, it seems a beast tide is about to begin. Luo Jin began to explain. When that happens, hundreds of thousands of mutants will swarm us. Not just the usual mutated zombies, but many high-level monsters. Maybe even a massive corpse-eater demon. His voice grew heavy when he mentioned the monsters. Hearing this, Song Chao looked around, his face paling. Wait a second. Seeing the desolate landscape, he shouted. You guys were just going to leave me here? Unfazed, Luo Jin calmly replied. Who knew you'd pop out of nowhere in an unarmored vehicle? He then tried to smooth things over. Besides, look, didn't we clear out all the nearby mutants for you? And then we found you. So, don't worry about the minor details. Song Chao kept protesting. Absolutely not. Luo Jin pointed ahead. All right, look, we're here. Song Chao was still panicking amidst the rubble. What? Suddenly, a voice called out. Luo Jin. He looked up, searching. The girl's voice continued. I told you to go on patrol. Another big gift for me. Shen Jiawen stepped down from the rubble. Been a few days. She smiled at Song Chao. Welcome back. Jiawen sat on a large rock, looking playful. You two handsome guys need a guide? Song Chao forced a smile. Sure. You can't even keep up with the boss. She led the way, glancing back to chat, surprised you returned with Luo Jin. Just like always, appearing at the perfect moment. Thinking that, she got excited. So, what presents did you bring this time? Seeing her, Song Chao sighed. You'll have to see for yourself. Just wait and see. Luo Jin's booming laugh echoed. Ha ha. As expected of the one our leader values. I already snuck a peek at the goods. Hearing that, Jai Van winked. Oh? Then I'll gratefully look forward to it. Song Chao then changed the topic. I heard you formed a company? Without turning back, she replied. It's a legion, but company works too. His own title came to mind, puzzling him as he climbed the rubble. Then what's with the head of logistics title? Jaivan's voice drifted back. You're a big shot who can find supplies after all. Giving you an officer role is only fair. Song Chao shot back. It feels more like you're just using me. At the top, she gave him a teasing look. Just be happy with it. Did you know Jai wanted to call the logistics team the trash department? Song Chao was speechless. Wow, that's just mean. Pure malice. Suddenly, he grew curious. So what's this legion of yours called anyway? At the question, Luo Jin froze, his face unreadable. Song Chao and Jai Van stared him down. He could only whistle and look away. Her face darkened as she spoke in a threatening tone. You have a problem with my name choice? Luo Jin panicked. No, not at all. Seeing this, he guessed just how bad it was. So what is the name already? She stopped. We're here. From afar, Jai spotted them first. Ah, sis, you're back. Then she finally noticed Song Chao. Jai cried out and leapt forward for a hug. Brother Chao, welcome back. Startled, Song Chao quickly dodged to the side, sending Jai tumbling to the ground. She sprang up, pouting. Brother Chao, that's so mean. Seeing her expression, he could only offer a weak laugh. Ah ha ha. Then his eyes scanned the area. So this is Jai Van's squad? He scanned their faces, feeling like their numbers had dwindled. But Jai Van was thrilled they were all here. Come, let me introduce you to the team. Oh, that's right. She and the others turned to Song Chao. Welcome back. Beneath the base's awning, a delicious scent made everyone's stomach rumble. The lid was lifted from a steaming pot. Song Chao peered inside, satisfied. It's ready. The entire legion crowded the table. He looked at the crew. Dig in. Rascal stood nearby, marveling at the food. Whoa, what is this? Fei Shui sipped her soup, stunned. I can't believe we're eating food this good. Rascal brandished his chopsticks, shouting, My life is complete. Kana gently offered some to Ruila. Here, try this. Ruila scowled. No, I don't want it. Tears of joy streamed down Luo Jin's face. Is this the true taste of food? Rascal was also completely ecstatic. He slapped Song Chao's back repeatedly. Our logistics chief is amazing. From now on, I'm your man. Just point and I'll fight. He winced. That hurts. He awkwardly dodged the two and hurried away. At that moment, Jai Van was also savoring the meal. Passing by Song Chao, she stretched her back. He sighed, overwhelmed by the intense welcome. Oh man. She glanced over at him. Welcome back. He grumbled with a tired look. This is way over the top. It's like they've never eaten before. Jai Van smirked. In reality, they haven't. You're the first idiot I've met who'd share this stuff. Hearing that, Song Chao asked blankly, Did I do something wrong? She waved it off. Of course not. A full meal right now is a huge morale boost. His expression turned serious. He glanced over. This is the main issue. Luo Jin said mutated creatures are running rampant. Jai Van spoke softly. Yeah, that's right. She began to explain. It's the calm before the storm. We can handle the usual mutated beasts just fine, but when they swarm together as a horde, we're not strong enough. Plus, once they gather in a horde, they lose interest in anything they can't eat. So my team usually evacuates before the swarm hits. But now that you're here, it's time to move out. Hearing this, Song Chao was shocked. What? Jaivan's eyes gleamed as she pointed. Look there. We call a pack of these mutants a biohazard swarm. That place is an old, ruined apartment complex. She quickly explained. In 2 days, max, a massive biohazard swarm will overrun that place. We're starting preparations now. We were waiting to hear from you. Now that you're here. A beast with savage, glaring eyes stared down Jaivan. She met its gaze with an icy glare of her own. There's no more reason to wait. Hearing this, Song Chao hesitated. Actually, Jaivan turned. What is it? A moment later, my cheered. There's more, Song Chao smiled faintly. Yeah. Luo Jin and I only brought half. The rest is still in the truck. Luo Jin was also stunned. No way, there was that much left in the truck? Unable to wait, my shouted excitedly. Then what are we waiting for? Let's hurry and move it all to Linjiang. Rascal and Mega instantly agreed. Yeah, let's get our food. Seeing this, Jaivan crossed her arms with a smirk. Are you guys being practical, or just completely ruled by your stomachs? Mai protested indignantly. Sis, Jaivan sighed, giving in to her sister. Fine, no more delays. She raised a hand, forming the squads. Luo Jin, Rella, and Rascal, you three are with me. We're the Feng Jinzi trio. Next, the second squad, Mega, Lai Air, and led by Mai, you're the Sunflower Firepower team, she continued. As for Song Chao, you lead the Huo Xiangye support team, stay in the rear and guide the vanguard. He pointed to himself, confused. Me? Song Chao nervously glanced at his team. Huh? Jaivan prompted him gently. Go get acquainted with your squad. His team was made up of familiar faces. There was Fei Shui, the eldest, followed by the eye-patched woman, Alina, and finally, the timid girl, Kana. She added warmly, Now, try to get along. Their vehicle rolled into a desolate city. The moment they stopped, Rascal threw the door open, leaning out and yelling, All right, you monsters, I'm here. Luo Jin shot him down. Rascal, keep it down. We're not picking a fight here. He's so childish. What's there to fear, Boss Luo Jin? Rascal shot back, spoiling for a fight. Think of it as practice. Team training. Right, boss? Jaivan, annoyed by the noise, retorted, Yeah, right. I'll have a job for you later. Don't waste your energy now. Watch it, or I'll dock your rations, Wildcat roared. Unbelievable. She ignored him and asked Song Chao, You and Luo Jin met in the underground parking lot, correct? He answered immediately. Yeah, that's right. Jia Wen hit the autopilot button. Okay, good. She left, but not without leaving a message. Stay with the logistics team. I'll call you when we arrive. Song Chao's face soured. He glanced at the others, his thoughts turning inward. What should I do? Guess I should introduce myself. Decided, Song Chao extended his hand with a smile. I don't think I've gotten everyone's names yet. Since we'll be working together, let's do introductions. Fei Shui's laughter broke the awkward silence. Right, he started us off. I'm Fei Shui. As you can see, I'm an office worker, good with paperwork and planning. Next, Alina spoke shyly. Alina, I'm a doctor. I'll do my best to help. Then came Kana, who was more relaxed. I'm Kana, the team's temporary chef, happy to help. Finally, Song Chao cheerfully introduced himself. I'm Song Chao. I used to follow Shen Jia Wen and her sister. For certain reasons, I ended up becoming her business partner. A thought suddenly struck him. A secretary, a doctor, a cook, and me. He grabbed his head in despair. This was a standard logistics team, absolutely zero combat power. Suddenly, the vehicle lurched, sending them sliding backward. Jia Wen slammed the brakes, asking Luo Jin, Is Song Chao's car really here? His face stiffened. I understand why you're asking, boss, but unfortunately, yes, it's really here. At this point, Jia Wen was speechless. She immediately shouted, Song Chao, get over here. Cradling his aching head, Song Chao peered out. What's wrong? Are we here already? Jia Wen gestured behind her. Oh, we're here all right. She showed him the scene below, but the plan has to change a little. Song Chao's eyes widened in shock. Before him was a landscape swarming with monstrous behemoths. Not only that, their bodies were grotesquely twisted. Jia Wen explained. This is the first stage of a bio-disaster. Song Chao was stunned. Right now, the monsters are just gathering. In 2 days, their numbers could reach hundreds of thousands. Everyone, it's showtime. Our goal is to get Song Chao's supplies and vehicle, then get out. Suddenly, her expression hardened, her eyes flashing. But it seems we have some uninvited guests in the way. We'll have to use special methods to make them move. Jia Mei, your fire team will open the show. Jia Mei stepped forward. Understood. She pointed forward confidently. Shen Jia Mei is taking the stage. Below, a monster shambled through the ruins, suddenly sensing a flash in the sky. Just as it looked up, a rocket slammed right into its face. The monster's eyes flared as it took the full impact. A massive explosion erupted. Jia Mei grinned at her work. Direct hit. You're up, sis. Jia Wen had already grasped the situation. She issued her orders. Sunflower, provide covering fire from here. Hyacinth, Wildcat, with me. Her strategy was sharp and decisive. Luo Jin and Shui Luo, you're on point. Draw the monsters this way. Lure everything on the path and protect the others from attack. Jia Wen then remembered a key detail. She called to Song Chao. You're with me. You're driving your own car. Song Chao was stunned. That's reckless. Jia Wen yelled back. It's the fastest and safest way. We don't have much time. She immediately shouted a warning. Mutated beasts are charging. Defense team, engage. The beasts below shot forward like arrows, snarling and baring their fangs. Luo Jin and Shui Luo rushed to confront them head-on. Following Jia Wen's command, Sunflower continued her suppressing fire. We're moving in to finish them. Luo Jin took the lead, acknowledging the order. Right. Suddenly, a monster leaped from a rooftop, diving at his head. Luo Jin used the force of his shield to smash its skull, killing it instantly. But from out of nowhere, another one attacked him from behind. Luo Jin sensed the danger, spinning around, but it was too late. Its massive jaws were wide open, about to snap him in two. But thankfully, a razor-sharp slash tore the beast apart. It was her. A powerful strike from Shui Luo. She crouched, scowling at the slain creature. Luo Jin sighed in relief but stayed alert. Thanks, but we've got new company. Staring at the grotesque monster ahead, he assessed it. A mid-level corrupted. This one's tough. What's the plan? Shui Luo tightened her grip on her sword. It's fine. She unleashed a flurry of slashes against the monstrous form. It's not so tough, I can't cut it. Despite Shui Luo's powerful technique, she destroyed the corrupted, but the appearance of more forced her to pause. Then, a rain of firepower cleared the obstacles for them. This sudden explosive barrage made Luo Jin jump. Hey, what if you hit us? But Shui Luo seemed to relax, knowing the young miss had faith in her skills. However, the corrupted didn't stop their advance. Here come more. Luo Jin's tone grew serious as he used her call sign. You good to continue, Berserker? Shui Luo's gaze was sharp and resolute. Of course, Guardian. The fierce battle raged on, shrouded in a cloud of dust. Watching from the outside, Song Chao's face filled with anxiety. The fighting is so intense. Meanwhile, Wildcat and Jia Wen were focused on their observation. They were watching the situation inside the parking garage. She finally spoke, her voice questioning. Song Chao, is that your vehicle? He replied instantly. Yes, that's the one. She shouted with excitement. Perfect. Then, she commanded with authority, you and Wildcat, rush in and get the car. I'll cover you. The second he heard his name, Wildcat leaped forward without hesitation. No problem. Watch me go. With decisive steps, he advanced with his rifle. Logistics Chief, follow me. Don't fall behind. And true to his name, he lived up to the name Wildcat. Keep up, Logistics Chief. He made a beeline for the truck, now surrounded by mutated monsters. Naturally, at such close range, he drew their attention. But a bullet was already chambered as Wildcat grit his teeth with determination. Out of our way! This is ours! One blast after another, with just a few moves, she reduced a horde of monsters to dust. With the path cleared, they focused on their mission. Logistics Chief, get the car. Tong Chao moved without a moment's hesitation. Got it. He used the opening she created to dash for the vehicle. But some mutated horror refused to let them escape. Its grotesque face lunged forward, startling Tong Chao. Luckily, his reflexes kicked in. Damn it! A burst from his rifle obliterated the mutant. At the same time, the lightning gun in Jaivan's hands never stopped, a testament to its master's incredible power. Tong Chao stared in awe and shouted, Shen Jaivan! The renegade beside him urged, Drive, punch through. That finally snapped Tong Chao back to reality. He slammed the key and twisted. The engine roared to life instantly, hurtling the vehicle right toward Jaivan. Tong Chao yelled as he drove, Shen Jaivan, I'll stop, get in. but Jaivan simply offered a confident smirk. No need, just keep driving. Then she launched herself into the air, leaving Tong Chao and the renegade completely stunned. She landed flawlessly on the roof of the moving vehicle. Jaivan watched the pursuing beasts, her eyes alight with excitement. "I'll take care of our tail," she yelled, taking aim. "Inform all teams the objective is complete." Ruila and Luojin heard her voice clearly. "We can disengage," Jaivan continued. "Jai Mei, send me your coordinates. Blast us a path through those ruins," she ordered. "Everyone else, get to the vehicles, we're moving." Lin Jiang, Alina, and Kana were overjoyed, but only those outside were celebrating. Inside, the renegade couldn't believe what he was hearing. Did she really just say, "blast a path"? Tong Chao beside him was speechless, offering a weak smile. A massive explosion obliterated every obstacle ahead, sending debris flying toward Jai Van on the roof. The terrifying scene ahead left Tong Chao frozen. He floored the gas, speeding through the raging inferno. It seemed they were all in the clear. Jai Van gave the signal. "All right, everyone move out." The convoy of vehicles sped away from the blast zone, onward to Linjiang. The city lights glowed brightly through the glass. Meanwhile, at a private hospital in the city, Xu Jing stared with an unreadable expression. "Are you really moving all this to Linjiang?" Jai Van looked completely unfazed. "Of course not. We're just laying low until the beast tide passes. I don't plan on letting it bankrupt me." Nearby, the trio of Rui La, Luo Jin, and Lai Er moved crates. Xu Jing shot them a tired glance. "Have you found a place yet?" Jiaivan used the chance to tease her. "Why not just let us stay with you?" The question earned a look of pure contempt. "This is a hospital, not a flophouse." Jiaivan pointed at the supplies. "I'll give you a share of the provisions." Xu Jing immediately countered. "Then I want the meat and eggs." Jiaivan was dumbfounded. "Fine, you petty thief." With the deal made, Xu Jing got to business. "All right, first, let's value 1 crate of supplies for a month's stay." Just then, she leaned and pointed toward the window. "What in the world is that?" Jiaivan could only let out a sigh. In front of the hospital, a battered vehicle looked like a pile of scrap. Tong Chao knelt beside it, crying his heart out over his car. After that brutal escape, it was a tragic sight, but he tried to laugh. "Ha ha." Jiaivan then added salt to the wound. "Isn't that just a supply-gathering car? It was just roughed up by some monsters. No need to mourn over it." This made him furious, yelling, "If you don't know anything, just shut up. This car is worth 10,000 supply trucks." Jiaivan was shocked. "What did you say?" Xu Jing was totally confused. She watched them argue 1 second, then kneel and wail together the next. "You players are certainly amusing." She then cut through their moment of shared grief. "Are you sure that beast tide is coming? Aside from you, no one has reported anything related to an uprising." Jai Van shot her a deadly glare before a smirk formed on her lips. "What are you questioning?" She lifted her chin proudly. "I am Shen Jai Van. I know every single blade of grass in the western suburbs. When a mutant so much as twitches, I know exactly what it's about to do." Her eyes grew serious. "The beast tide is definitely coming. Anyone who doubts my word will pay the price." Xu Jing simply sighed. "Is that so?" Then, she opened a message on her phone. "Right. The Intel division is looking for you. They asked me to pass this along." Jai Van looked shocked as she read it. The information was crystal clear. She continued to stress. "The leaders of every faction in the city have gathered to find you. They're asking about the beast tide." Jai Van's playful demeanor vanished. Tong Chao, still sulking, muttered, "What?" She tapped her phone on his head. "Stop dawdling. You have a meeting with me tomorrow." Tong Chao flinched away from her touch. But regarding the matter, Jai Van wasn't worried at all. In fact, she was rather looking forward to it. "It's a perfect chance to introduce our team and expand our influence. You're coming with me to meet the decision makers. As for that car of yours, take it to Mimi Yi first. See if she can fix it." Xu Jing couldn't help but doubt her confident display. "Big words, but are you actually prepared?" Jai Van stopped her, noticing her complexion wasn't great. "There's no other way. I have to make a preemptive move. After all, there are 1 or 2 of them I can't handle." Tong Chao watched from the ground, totally lost. What's going on? The next morning, sunlight washed over the skyscrapers. At the base in North Linjiang, Tong Chao was completely overwhelmed by its massive scale. "This base is huge," he said, quickly turning to Jaivan. "Why didn't we come here first? Isn't this supposed to be a group conference?" She immediately shot him down. "I needed to reach an understanding with Yan Wang first." That one name made Tong Chao's curiosity spike. "You mean Yan Wang? Didn't you say you two had bad blood?" Jaivan turned away. "That's true, we do. Just thinking about it was tiring. A little bad blood. Let's go. As they walked inside, a man was already there waiting. Welcome. Miba bowed respectfully toward them. Lady Shenjiaivan, the director is waiting. Then his attitude did a 180. I never thought you'd be so bold, to personally come here to negotiate. Jaivan wasn't at all surprised by his attitude. It has been a while, Miba. I don't want to make things more complicated. Reaching an understanding with the King of Hell would prevent a lot of trouble. Miba's gaze was calm. I understand, she said, no longer making things difficult. This way, please. Jiawen politely led the way. Thanks for the trouble. Behind her, Song Chao moved closer to whisper. They don't seem very hostile. Jiawen watched Miba's back with a complex look. After all, in some ways, she's considered an ally. Song Chao was surprised. Oh. In a spacious office, Miba led them to a door and knocked. Minister, Miss Shen Jiawen and Mr. Song Chao are here. The door opened with a voice inviting them in. Inside, Ya Lin sat with her back turned to them. Her appearance made Song Chao wonder. A woman? He then saw the two women tense up. Miba looked helpless. Not again. But Jiawen just said, Ya Lin trembled violently in her chair. Shen Jiawen. She then shot up from her seat, a blur of pure motion. The three at the door jolted as if meeting a fearsome enemy. It was Ya Lin, charging with a fiery, obsessive love. Shen Jiawen. Drool was literally flying from her mouth. It's been too long. And she lunged with excitement. Let me have a kiss. But Jiawen simply lifted her leg. She met Ya Lin with a loving kick straight to the chin, freezing her in midair. At the same time, Miba drew back and struck with full force. Ya Lin was sent flying without a word. She crashed backward, gasping. Ack! Song Chao could only watch, frozen, as the others rushed to restrain their minister. He sweated, watching them. Hurry, stop this embarrassment. A guard struggled to hold Ya Lin's arms. Enough, minister, please calm down. But she kept screaming, Let me go, Shen Jiawen. Just one kiss, as another guard fought to pin her down. Please, don't lose control every time you see her. Jiawen, the object of this obsession, just crossed her arms and sighed. Beside her, Miba covered her face, unable to watch. The struggle continued with Ya Lin's frantic screams. Shen Jiawen, amid cries of, Calm down, minister. Ya Lin tried to play it cool. Jiawen, I was just excited to see a long-lost friend. Her words made Miba close her eyes, speechless. I didn't expect a man here. My apologies. How rude. Hearing this, Song Chao just laughed awkwardly. Ah, it's nothing. Even in this awkward atmosphere, her voice was full of pride. First time meeting. I am Minister of Linjiang's Population Survey Department, one of the most powerful people here. It sounded grand, but the truth was, her lower body was still tied up. So she proposed with an innocent face, as one of Linjiang's most powerful, I demand my personal freedom be restored, but she only got Miba's blunt reply. In your dreams, Jiawen sighed wearily. Come on, Song Chao, let me introduce you. Then she began to explain this lunatic. Minister of the Population Survey Department, Ya Lin. She's a half-foreigner, and leader of the violent faction that controls northern Linjiang. Her job is to control population size and density in the Linjiang areas, and she has no problem using force to do it. The introduction painted a very different picture of Ya Lin. Most of her subordinates are thugs, mercenaries, and intel brokers. They're all cruel and bloodthirsty, which earned them the nickname Kings of Hell. But Jiawen added one more blunt detail, and she's a total pervert. Song Chao just muttered, Oh. Then Jiawen turned to Ya Lin. I'm not here to watch your show. Can we get to the main topic? Seeing her attitude, Ya Lin looked bored, then gently slipped free from her restraints. You truly wound me. She reappeared in her original seat. Very well. Ya Lin finally smiled seriously. My dear childhood friend. She looked at Jiawen, sitting with her legs crossed. The main point. What is it? Jiawen didn't hesitate. It's about the beast tide. At the afternoon meeting, don't cause me any trouble, she replied enthusiastically. Don't worry. I have to be responsible. For the city, right? Then her expression turned serious. But besides you, no one else has reported a beast tide, not even the West Jiao mercenaries. Jiawen didn't flinch. I'll explain at the meeting. But the beast tide is absolutely coming. And the scale will be massive. Her firm assertion made Ya Lin smile with interest, her confident face unwavering. Is that all you came for? I want to buy equipment and supplies. Ya Lin was surprised. Oh? Jiawen continued, ignoring her. The Linjiang market only has level 2 gear, but old Nanjiao had ammo that could pierce it. Only your people can get that. right? I need to arm my squad. The offer intrigued her. Her expression turned to that of a merchant. I can, but can you pay? Jowan responded with a confident scoff. Let me introduce you. This is my partner, the quartermaster from the Hua shop. Noticing the attention, Song Chao rubbed his head. Hello, I'm Song Chao. Jowan pressed on with her offer. He has access to many rare items. The quantity is limited, but the quality is top-notch. Her words piqued Ya Lin's interest. Oh, she replied with a promising look. Then I'll wait and see. At the same time, Miba reminded them, if you want to barter, please provide a list. Jowan stood and replied casually, no problem, let's go. Then she and Song Chao departed. As for the rest, we'll settle it this afternoon. Only Ya Lin and her subordinate remained. Miba suddenly asked a vague question. Is it okay? Leaving Ya Lin puzzled. What? She voiced her concern. Give them an equipment supplier? We'll lose all leverage in the Western District. Ya Lin calmly touched the glass. It's fine. We can't just let the West District fall into enemy hands, after all. She gazed down through the floor-to-ceiling window. Besides, she was the West's original overlord. Taking her land means open war. It's more profitable to maintain good relations. Ya Lin's expression hardened. The real issue is if the beast tide is actually coming. Jowan will seize this chance to rise and build her team's authority. She commanded Miba, recall all of the survey department's spirit power. Also, see if we can use this information gap to cover our losses. The beast tide was likely real. Miba replied, yes ma'am. Yalin sighed. What a headache. Below, Jowan and Song Chao walked away side by side. When it comes to cashing in favors, she never misses a single chance. Shen Jowan. The time is now 16:30, at a skyscraper in Linjiang's central district. The leaders gathered in a virtual conference room. Regarding this beast tide, let's reach a consensus. Yalin, head of the survey department, codename Yama King, spoke first. Do we believe Jowan or not? Let's put it to a vote. Responding was Chief Wei Yun of Linjiang Security, whose codename was the General. We understand you want to support young Shen, but the perimeter shows no signs of a beast tide. Another voice chimed in, agreeing. The director of the intelligence house, codenamed Fatty, added, correct. We haven't picked up any abnormalities on our end either. The West might see a small tide, but this level of alarm is unnecessary. Faced with their skepticism, Jowan's demeanor was icy. Believe it or not, that's your choice. Mark my words. This tide's scale will exceed your imagination. I didn't come to Linjiang to beg for your trust. I'm only here to acquire equipment and organize my defenses. Her words left Wei Yun and Fatty speechless with rage. She has absolutely no respect. Only Yalin remained playful. I've already decided to trust her. Jowan instantly shot back. We all know what your preferences are, so could you please shut your mouth? In principle, I understand why you doubt my intel. The stakes are high, but this isn't personal. When it comes to mutated creatures in Linjiang, no one knows them better than me. She gave a wicked, challenging smirk. Fatty, care to make a wager? If I lose, the intelligence house gets unconditional access to the West. If I win, you reveal the location of your real body. Her words instantly enraged Fatty. Stop messing around, you witch. To propose a bet like that, you must be incredibly confident. Jiawen's certainty was unshakable. Of course. Uncle Wei, I may be greedy, ruthless, and selfish, but I would never lie about the safety of Linjiang. We go way back, after all. I hope you can trust an expert's warning. She finished with a knowing smile, adding, of course, you can choose not to believe me, but you'll have to bear the consequences. Faced with Jowan's arrogance, her two opponents could only sigh in silence. Fatty leaned an elbow on the table, gesturing idly with his free hand. Sorry, but I still don't believe this massive beast tide of yours will appear. Compared to intuition, he trusted big data and intel analysis far more. Wei Yun slowly closed his eyes, his brow furrowed in a deep, unfriendly frown. The only current anomaly is in the western suburbs. Even if a beast tide appears, it poses no real threat to Linjiang. So stop with the scare tactics. We can support you taking the lead in the west, but don't think you can use some flimsy excuse to mobilize all of Linjiang to clean up your mess. Yalin simply pursed her lips, saying nothing. Jiawen waved a hand, sighing wearily. Fatty. Her face suddenly darkened, her jaw tightening. Should I take that as a personal insult? He froze for a second, then quickly stammered a denial. No, of course not. She leaned back in her chair, crossing her arms. Her voice was infuriatingly calm. Forget it. For a data purist like you, the current signs are meaningless. She refused to continue the topic. She decisively ended the discussion. That's all from me. My man Song Chao will handle the supply deal with me Ba. Yalin was caught off guard. Hmm? What? Without waiting for a reply, Jiawen vanished from the screen with a cold. See you in a few days. The remaining three were left frozen in stunned silence. Fatty glanced at Jiawen's now empty seat. See you in a few days. Wei Yun's brow furrowed with annoyance. It seems she's not just confident in her judgment, she's also furious. He gritted his teeth, trying to suppress the rage from her merciless insult. Even if she wants the West, did she have to stir up trouble like this? I was just speaking the truth. Yalin said nothing, giving him a look that spoke volumes. Fatty couldn't hold back. He shot up, slamming his hand on the table. And another thing, are you all really okay with this? Wei Yun replied nonchalantly. What is there to be okay with? He raised an eyebrow, choosing his words carefully. Frankly, developing the West District is too difficult for us. Besides, we can't bypass her, can we? And when she gets that mocking look, I'd rather not waste my energy. It's simply easier to cooperate with her. I'd rather use that energy to help old man Nan Zhao. Fatty, displeased, reminded him sternly, we were talking about the beast tide, weren't we? Don't confuse the issue. She's just using this crisis to mobilize everyone in Linjiang to help her solve the West's beast tide problem. Yalin rubbed her temples, nodding slowly. Is that it? She never acts without a motive. This feels like a bad deal. In the minimalist room, the call's aftermath lingered in the warm light. I don't believe this is the full extent of her plan. Jiawen sat in the quiet room, stretching contentedly with a soft sigh. Jia Mei entered, clad in sleek armor and holding a datapad. She called out as soon as she entered. Jiawen looked up, a smile spreading across her face. Oh? You have news? She took the tablet, listening to Jia Mei's report as she scrolled. Yes, nearly 60% of the West's Team 5 supports us. She took in the information, pleased. Excellent. Jia Mei looked puzzled. Don't the people in Linjiang know anything about mutated creatures? They're like that brainless mob from the South District. She turned, making her judgment. Those small beast waves gave them a false sense of security. It doesn't matter. Jia Wen slapped the datapad. Look. Meanwhile, sunlight streamed into the Zijing private hospital. Inside the silent comms room, an electronic panel glowed softly. Lines of data scrolled across the screen. Batteries, energy packs, military-grade nutrient solutions, cheap rounds, and other firearms and ammo. Song Chao scanned the tablet. This is everything they're offering. Miba watched him closely. So, we're trading based on this list? Song Chao nodded, scrolling. No heavy weapons, huh? Oh well. He stood up, eagerly extending a hand. Here's to a good partnership. Her eyes widened slightly. Oh. Song Chao froze, realizing his mistake. Ah. He scratched his head, forcing a weak smile. Haha, my bad. I forgot you were a projection. She brushed it off. It's nothing. Miba then closed her eyes and faded away. We'll bring the supplies to the flower shop tomorrow morning. Song Chao watched her projection vanish. See you then. A small smile touched his lips. His face relaxed as he eyed the device. The deal's done. It took some effort and a few concessions, but it went smoothly. As Song Chao zoned out, a voice cut in. So that's it? Luo Jin leaned on the wall, hands behind his head, clearly displeased. Boss Song, seems like we got the short end of that deal. He flinched, turning and waving his hands. It's fine. It was urgent. Besides, to me, that food isn't all that valuable. Hearing this, Luo Jin smirked unhappily. Are you even human? The other man beside him just laughed. Our quartermaster, inspiring confidence in us all. Song Chao was speechless, muttering, Quartermaster? He thought to himself. Modern people don't have your survival skills for these death matches. Suddenly, a distant voice caught his attention. What's all this about? Jia Wen swept in, brushing back her hair. Anything interesting? Do tell. Luo Jin immediately snitched. Boss Song just made a bad deal. She looked surprised, blurting out. What? Jia Wen stared at him, bewildered. Didn't I give you our standard price list? Song Chao quickly raised a hand to explain. I just felt it was better to give them a discount right now. It ensures the supplies get where they need to go. Plus, I asked for help finding a store in Linjiang. He gestured with the tablet, annoyed. Frankly, the profit we lost is less than our rent at Dr. Z's. Luo Jin fell silent, at a loss for words. Huh? Jia Wen conceded awkwardly. That's true. She tapped her temple, a slight, wry smile on her face. Okay then. Best not to dwell on it. Changing the subject, Jia Wen faced Song Chao. Do we have any spare food and ammo? He checked the datapad. If the Puze department's delivery comes, it should be enough. Outside, Someone was approaching. We're having guests. Prepare 4 nutrient packs for me. He wondered. Guests? Heavily armed figures strode in, as Jia Wen calmly confirmed. That's right. I found us some backup. After their talk, Song Chao quietly took charge of the shipment. He then became busy handling all the trades with the Puget department, but he kept an eye on her methods. Meanwhile, Shen Jiawen met with strange individuals who seemed to appear from thin air. Their arrival changed everything. The air grew thick with tension. Then, it began. First, in the Western District, people rushed in, carrying gear and weapons. News spread from the outposts. Refugees fled from Shijiao to Linjiang, reporting a beast tide. Thanks to this intel, they quickly assessed the situation and the coming threat. Then, in less than half a day, the North District's Puget department found mutants where there should be none, bringing back bodies as proof. The strange corpses were laid before Miba during an emergency briefing. Mu and Wei Yun were in constant meetings as leaders planned their response. A new report came in. His subordinate rushed forward with a datapad, panting, "It hasn't even been half a day." A giant monster attacked, launching one of them into the air. The Dongjiao scouts were ambushed by mutants, despite a fierce defense. Many escaped, but the losses were still heavy. Finally, there was Nanjiao, still quiet, with only 2 guards on the main gate. Suddenly, the ground shook violently, nearly knocking them over. An unknown blast ripped through the air, followed by a roaring explosion. Chaos erupted like a tidal wave as they screamed. Ah! The Nanjiao smugglers were scattered like sand, ambushed by the mutants. In moments, 2 slave camps were lost. A grotesque mutant with jagged teeth and mottled skin roared, its massive body smashing the gate. A swarm of smaller beasts followed it into the flames. Hell had been unleashed. Fatty and his man watched the chaos from above. The casualties were countless. After only 2 days, he gritted his teeth. How did it come to this? A bloody crescent moon hung in the sky. An eerie light fell on the mutants approaching the walls. Just then, a voice echoed from behind. "Yo, Fatty, need some help?" Fatty turned to see 2 familiar figures. Shen Jiawen. He scowled, his face twisting with anger. "What do you want? Here to laugh at me?" Jiawen's eyes narrowed, a small smile playing on her lips. Her voice was soft, yet sharp. "Would I do that? What?" "I'm here to talk business," she chuckled, gesturing in a way that only annoyed him more. "Besides, I've already had my fun laughing." Jiaivan watched every move of the approaching mutants. The beast tide was forming, for good or ill. They had to face it. Yalin reported with some doubt. The south sector fell. The northeast sectors are holding, but their defenses are thin. "So you have a plan?" Jiaivan casually pocketed her hands, stating, "Our problem isn't strength. It's that our firepower is too scattered. Our kill rate is too low." She paused, raising one finger. "So, I have a proposal." At her words, Fatty and Yalin leaned in, intrigued. She couldn't help but ask. Under a blood-red crescent moon, the wind whispered through broken trees, carrying a putrid stench. Mutated beasts with fire-like eyes stalked the night, silently hunting for their prey. Nearby, a black metal box emitted a wisp of smoke. A monster caught the strange scent and halted, its pack letting out a piercing howl. The shriek echoed as drool dripped from their maws. Moments later, the horde charged toward the scent, like wild animals on a hunt. From high above, a figure watched the creatures below. Luojin raised his binoculars, whispering, "They're on the move." Perched on a branch, his sharp gaze never wavered. "The horde is charging the lure." Hearing this, Jiaivan's eyes glinted with satisfaction. "Excellent." Without hesitation, she signaled sharply. "Move to the next point. Deploy the new lure now." The team dashed off, weapons in hand. Jiaivan led the way with a determined look. "Follow me." Luojin followed close behind, a flicker of surprise on his face. "I can't believe we can actually steer the horde." The man beside him agreed. "Yeah." Jia Mei glanced back while running, replying with confidence. "We wouldn't have survived in Shijiao without a few tricks." She then quickly explained how the device worked. It uses sound waves and a unique scent to create a signal. These elements lure the mutants, drawing them in automatically. Drawn by the lure, the mutants will try to consume it. But since there's only one, they'll fight over it. Sometimes, they'll even brawl over the lure. This process allows us to control their movements to a degree. Once a lure is gone, we simply deploy another one. This lets us continuously direct the horde's path. Jiaivan smirked. "This unique Shijiao tech is our key. It's our bargaining chip with the other sectors." She squinted, remembering her proposal in the virtual room. "Right." She had watched Fatty with a lazy, yet calculating gaze. Wouldn't concentrating the beast tide make it easier to attack? He'd angrily retorted, easier said than done. How can we control a horde of scattered beasts? Her voice was cold. But if we do nothing, the Nanjiao faction is a mess. Aren't you worried they'll abandon their posts and let the tide storm the city? Fatty froze, stammering. Well, Yalin stroked her chin, teasingly. So that's it. You hold a grudge, using this to pressure the Nanjiao faction. Just then, a deep voice cut in, grabbing their attention. Are you confident? Ji Van and Fatty turned toward the sound. They saw Wei Yun approaching, hands behind his back. Together, they greeted him. Uncle Wei. His voice was firm as he laid out the terms. Lure 80% of the beast tide to Linjiang's Nancheng. If you succeed, the central district will provide your supplies. So, are you up to the task? Ji Van didn't answer right away. Her icy gaze remained locked on Wei Yun. After a moment, a slight smirk touched her lips. A knowing smile played across her face. Under the dim moon outside the central district, her voice rang out, clear and confident. No problem. Ji Van moved swiftly down the slope, her mind already racing. As long as you provide the materials for the lures. She slid down the slope, calculating silently. I can lead the main horde to Nanjiao's outskirts. Immediately, Ji Van signaled for Luo Jin to deploy the lure box. Without stopping, she activated her comms device to issue an order to Jia Mei. I'll use a private channel to rally the scattered Shijiao teams. The mission was unfolding exactly as she had planned. With enough teams in the field, we can concentrate the horde. Ji Van directed them to place lures according to her plan, creating a path for the beasts to follow. The monsters would then fight and tear each other apart over the prize. This infighting would naturally thin their numbers during the luring process. Then, we'll regroup with the other Shijiao members and form a proper lure unit. As she searched, she spotted someone waving in the distance. As for supplies like food and ammo, I'm counting on you. Instantly, she and Tuki began the plan, moving without hesitation. In the quiet dark, a small fire flickered among the trees. Ji Van began to speak, her voice a bit hesitant. All right then. Her eyes swept over the group, hands on her hips. Looks like we're all here. She turned to 2K with a sincere tone. Thank you all for trusting in me, Shen Ji Van, and agreeing to help. One Eye listened in silence, his expression unreadable. She stood by the fire, raising a finger with a determined smile. Fellow members of Shijiao, let's show this wolf pack what we're made of. It's been too long. On the map, red marked the enemy, and black marked their forces. The Shijiao team's constant maneuvering lured the bulk of the beast tide to Linjiang's Nancheng. The black markers indicated the paths where the lures were placed. Under Shen Jivan's command, the Shijiao teams constantly moved and set lures. They not only redirected the horde, but also separated weaker beasts into traps. The teams shadowed them relentlessly. On certain nights, if West Jiao squads found the beast count low, they'd strike under the quiet, moonlit sky as a soft wind blew. Just then, the monster's head hit the ground. Isolated, it couldn't resist the team's overwhelming power. They would eliminate these monsters. Next, small two-person teams would focus on luring them according to the plan. They ignored lone stragglers, only tracking their routes. But for larger, notable targets, multiple squads would coordinate the luring operation. When the plan succeeded, the small teams exchanged looks of approval and a thumbs up of satisfaction. In the Linjiang East Jiao Mountains, Ziyue scanned with her rifle scope. She suddenly looked up, startled. Whoa, are you kidding? How did it appear so fast? She was horrified by the giant monster's silhouette. Its red eyes and nose stirred up a cloud of dust, followed by a horde of mutated creatures. That night in the East Jiao forest, Jia Mei approached Jia Wen, her eyes filled with doubt. There's a problem with the luring operation. She nodded at her datapad. Something unexpected happened. Jia Wen looked up, her voice firm. Until 2 hours ago, everything was going as planned. Most of the beast tide was gathering at South Jiao. Her finger slid across the map. But in East Jiao, several small and medium beast tides are unnaturally converging toward the mountains. She zoomed in on the display. Enemy icons gathered at a single point, as if quietly opening a new, hidden attack route. La Air rushed over, breathing heavily, her face pale with urgency. We got a call from Sister Shen's team at the mountain. Jia Wen spun around. What? Did they report the situation? La Er swallowed hard, taking a deep breath. They said a Manzu appeared. Hearing this, Jia Wen's eyes widened in disbelief. What? Are you serious? Rui La was surprised by the unfamiliar name. Manzu? 2K paused for a moment, then growled. You people from the city probably don't know. It's basically a term we use ourselves. He fell silent for a moment, then spoke slowly. You know of the corpse fiend, right? Tuka described the massive beast. When a mutated creature is near the corpse fiend's level, with greater power and organization, even skills and intelligence, we call it a Manzu. It's a monster with a pig-like head and red pupils. Moreover, a Manzu will gather surrounding mutated creatures to form a tribe, Tuki explained clearly. A Manzu can even evolve a portion of these monsters into its personal guards, meaning, to fight a Manzu, you must face an army of enhanced mutated creatures. His next words made Rascal and Rui Law's expressions grow grim. They can't be compared to that chaotic beast tide. One Eye stepped forward, his muscular body clad in armor, his gaze fixed on Jia Wen. What's the plan, General? She frowned, her lips curling into a sneer. This time, you all listen to me instead of hiding in the city. Now, take responsibility for the command. Jia Wen let out a soft sigh, her eyes closing for a second. What other choice do we have? She said, opening her eyes with fierce determination. We just have to go deal with it directly. At that moment, on a high hill in the Linjiang East Jiao Mountains, a figure stood silently, weapon gripped tight, watching the other side. Suddenly, from the darkness behind, a hand gently reached out and rested on Ziyue's shoulder, making her jump as a chill ran down her spine. Jia Wen stepped closer, her voice low but steady. What's the situation now? Ziyue gritted her teeth, annoyed. Shen Jia Wen, she snapped. Could you not sneak up on people like that? Jia Wen offered an apologetic smile. Sorry. All right, where's the Manzu? Ziyue stood up, pointing angrily. Damn it, follow me. It's 2 kilometers from here. When they arrived, Luo Jin was stunned, speechless. Whoa. Rascal frowned, his face pale with fear. That thing is A massive, rough-skinned foot slammed down with a heavy thud. Before them was a creature as tall as a mountain, with a grotesque pig head on a powerful neck. The Manzu. It snorted heavily, drool dripping from its sharp teeth as it raised its head and let out a roar that shook the very sky. Jia Wen pushed aside the dense foliage, her voice low. How many people do we have? Ziyue quickly scanned the area. Including your 3 squads, about 50 people. Hearing this, she nodded. Very good. One Eye glanced at her, half curious, half wary. What are you planning to do? Jia Wen's gaze was fixed on the giant figure. If we don't eliminate the Manzu and its guards here, the East Jiao forces can't join the main battlefield. Everyone turned toward the Manzu, listening for her orders. We attack first. Try to quickly thin out the number of its personal guards. If more beasts show up, we retreat immediately. And that's all for this video. That was a summary of the story, so if you have any thoughts, leave them in the comments section. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more awesome videos. For now, take care and see you next time. Bye-bye.